West Performance Cars over the dealer for maintenance and repair of your European car. Reason number 2, trust. We don't sell cars, so we are not going to present you with an outrageous repair estimate to try and get you to trade up to a new car. Our goal is to keep your current car performing at its peak for a price that fits your budget. We don't have a second agenda or an attitude. Call our service advisors at 312-432-9492 or book online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com today.
Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Morning, Mike. Lakeshore Drive, you mentioned that wreck at Balboa, and the southbound side of the outer drive remains closed from Jackson to Roosevelt after this collision between a car and a minivan, which happened just after 1 o'clock this morning. Southbound Lakeshore Drive closed Jackson to Roosevelt, and Balboa is shut down in both directions between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. Farther south, Lakeshore Drive is still closed as well southbound from the Stevenson to 31st. That's overnight roadwork, which should be clearing now any minute. In Barrington, there's still a right lane closure on westbound Northwest Highway, Hart to Cuba after a wreck Tuesday night which involved hazardous materials. Elsewhere, things are fairly quiet. Expressways and tollways look good, and traffic is a service of Al Pamati Ford. Stop before you buy your new car. You must visit Al Pamati Ford now. Truckloads of new cars and trucks have just arrived, and everything is priced to sell quickly. Al Pamati Ford. It's at 25th and North Avenue in Melrose Park. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, breezy, and colder, high 32. Partly cloudy and cold tonight, low 16. Cold tomorrow with clouds giving way to some sun, high 32. Then a partly cloudy and cold night, low 17. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
20 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Scotch the Lady is going to be very happy to know that you're wearing the cow jacket when he joins us later in the show to talk about February jobs numbers.
Yeah, I thought we discussed this, that we were both going to be wearing the cow jacket because as a show of, solidarity, as a form of, thank you so much for the jacket. We love it. We're still wearing it. Take a look at our monitor. You can see your cow jacket. But apparently,
I don't want to go overboard.
Well, yeah, somebody didn't want to play today.
It's not the first time you've shown up to a costume party with the only one wearing a costume, I assume. So.
Yeah, it happened in the late 90s. Thank you.
Yeah.
Went to a Halloween costume. It was just for the kids to dress up, not the adults. Really embarrassing. And guess what I had on?
A Catwoman outfit.
Yes.
Oh, what a guess.
So it wasn't one of those subtle,
right.
It was very in-your-face kind of outfit. And I had the claws and the eyes done and the hair.
You scandalized the children as well as the husbands.
Then I went trick-or-treating with the kids, and everything was fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of laughs.
Well, yesterday, the sales pitch on the Obamacare replacement proposal that House Republican leadership is advancing through committee. This is the first part of the three-phased process that's been explained. The reconciliation, deal with the numbers piece of it, taxes and spending. That's what you can do and only need 51 votes, a simple majority in the Senate. Then the second phase is the administrative rulemaking, so what Dr. Tom Price will do at HHS. And then the third phase is the legislative proposal where you'll need 60 votes in the Senate, so 8 Democrat senators in order to complete the process, if you will. Now, this is not without consternation, but Paul Ryan
Is he still talking? Does he still have his PowerPoint presentation up?
He did a PowerPoint presentation, but you know what? It's a sales pitch, and he's making the pitch to the American people through the media, which is certainly part of the approach. And I don't fault him for it. I mean, he needs to sell people on this idea. You come up with an idea, you need to market it.
Right.
That's how you get buy-in.
And if you have to use graphs and charts and pie charts, that's fine. I mean, it made sense, but everybody, of course, all these memes were out there making fun of him and whatever.
Yeah, that's really difficult to do. Yeah. One of the important points throughout his 25-minute presentation to the D.C. press corps was about the transition, because of course the Democrats are demagoguing the issue with respect to a lot of facets, but in particular transition. You know, the horror story of somebody who has health care under the Obamacare exchanges now, and they'll just immediately lose their health care as soon as Republicans move on repeal. And Ryan wanted to make the point that that's not going to be the case.
The key thing that a lot of people want to know, when I do my listening sessions, when I talk to people with various disease advocacy groups, is they just want to know that when we pass this, the next day they're not going to lose their health insurance. That's not going to happen. We pass this law, and the day after, Americans who have insurance aren't going to lose it the day after. We need to have a stable transition to conservative health care reform, and that's what we're doing so that we do not pull the rug out from anybody who is enjoying some kind of coverage they have today.
Yeah, it's transitioning back to something that's more market-oriented. And remember, I understand the criticisms of certain conservatives, members of the Freedom Caucus, Rand Paul in particular in the Senate. So I understand it. I agree with some of it. But one of the things that you learn if you go through Morton Blackwell's Leadership Institute seminars, which I highly recommend, by the way, his rules of the public.
You're buying, I'm flying. I'll go.
Yeah, okay. I'll get you out to D.C. I'll see if I can get you a $90 ticket to fly to D.C. But among his laws of the public policy process, don't treat your friends like you treat your enemies. I can understand the disagreements, the substantive disagreements over the form that Obamacare replacement is taking, but I also don't think you should treat House Speaker Paul Ryan as an enemy if you are a conservative, reform-minded person. And even if you think the proposal falls short of the principles that are being articulated that allegedly provide the foundation, at least Paul Ryan is articulating a market-based argument for health insurance in this country, and there are parts of it that are true free market solutions to the challenges in this space, like the health savings account expansion. That can't be denied. So, and then you have to layer that with the political reality of, in terms of consummating this whole thing, how do we get 8 senators in the Senate? So there is a political reality that has to be dealt with, whether you want to or not. But just on the issue of the underlying principles, I thought Paul Ryan laid it out with perfect clarity.
We don't want insurance companies becoming monopolies, looking for favoritism in a cronyistic way at Washington. We want health insurers, hospitals, doctors, all providers of health care benefits competing against each other for our business as consumers. That is how the great American free enterprise system works in all other aspects of our lives and our economy. That's what should work in this system as well.
So I think, I think that's a nice articulation of the disposition, even again, if you think what has been produced doesn't live up to the standard that Paul Ryan just laid out.
So what's the point of contention now? I mean, this morning, is it the Medicaid rollback? I mean, because some conservative leaders, Senate leaders, want it rolled back by 2017, which is now, and others in the plan, it's 2020. So do they have to just agree on a year or a time?
I think the phase out of the Medicaid expansion is less of a bone of contention than the tax credit entitlement, essentially. I mean, it's a transfer payment.
CNN was all over that this morning. Medicaid expansion, they want to roll back. 15 million Americans are going to lose their health care coverage. That was the play.
Yeah, I understand. Medicaid was expanded to cover people the Medicaid program never was conceived to cover. You remember Bill Clinton essentially arguing when he was on the stump for Hillary in the
the last election,
Yeah.
we should go to essentially everybody on Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the way to fix what's broken about Obamacare, is just put everybody on Medicaid who's not on Medicare. So that was a bit of a tell with, again, kind of the backdoor single payer that the left truly wants. With respect to Medicaid expansion, well, let's talk about it in Illinois to localize it, make it manageable.
Right.
So in Illinois, we went from 1 in 5 Illinoisans on Medicaid, which is, nearly 2 million people, to now 1 in 4. 645,000 new people added to the Medicaid rolls in this state. Medicaid, prior to Obamacare Medicaid expansion, was the largest single general expenditure line item in the budget.
And wasn't that under W. Bush?
What?
Which president originally expanded Medicaid? Wasn't it Bush?
No, Medicaid expansion is part of Obamacare. Yeah.
Okay.
Bush did Medicare Part D, the drug
Got it.
program,
Medicare Part D.
prescription drug program.
Thank you.
But so we couldn't afford it before Obamacare Medicaid expansion. It was a budget buster. And the way we deal with it in Illinois is we just don't pay Medicaid providers. Right. Well,
that's nice. Thanks for the bill, but we can't pay it.
It's a novel way to deal with it. But healthcare providers then stop accepting Medicaid patients. And so you see the people who Medicaid was actually intended to serve, indigent children, pregnant women, the developmentally disabled, actually see their access to quality care and services reduced because you run a phony baloney system that you can't finance while you're expanding it to include more people who you also can't finance, but who, some will be provided services at the expense of others who need them and were originally conceived to be the beneficiaries when Medicaid was created 50 years ago. This is how convoluted the system is, and this is what happens when you run systems not based on economics or original vision for servicing people in need, whether temporarily or permanently, and you just use it as a way to build a political constituency, which is what the Medicaid program has become.
Okay.
So it was 1 in 5. Now it's 1 in 4. A quarter of the population in the state is on Medicaid. They're not in the private health insurance market. And that's trending, according to Kaiser Foundation predictions, to 1 in 3. We can't finance any of it. We're not even close. And Illinois, of course, is the least situated of any state to finance any kind of government expansion, which is why it is jarring, frankly, that a Republican governor like Bruce Rauner is suggesting what he suggested, which is Illinois, quote, won't do very well, unquote, under the Republican health insurance plan. He wants to, slow walk certainly anything with respect to the Medicaid expansion under Obamacare. I don't understand it. This is what he said. This is Craig Delamore's report on BBM News.
My first blush read is Illinois won't do very well under the changes that they're recommending, which is a big concern to me. I want to make sure that people in Illinois are not left in the lurch, or that there's a lot of pressure to reduce insurance coverage for people in Illinois. I'm very concerned about that.
It's just pandering nonsense. That's what that is.
Okay, thank you. Because I heard that report and I went, what is he doing?
Well, he's a big government Medicaid expansion, backdoor single payer proponent, and this is the guy with the business sense. He's lost at sea politically, and he's trying to grab onto something.
Okay.
And when you lurch around, sometimes you grab an anchor instead of a life preserver. Here's the thing about what Governor Rauner said about Illinois not doing very well under what Republicans have proposed. Illinois not doing very well under Obamacare. Right. And point of fact, last year, for this year, the Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Blue Choice Preferred PPO, we've talked about on the show, 59% premium increase. So in terms of who's not doing well under Obamacare, Medicaid patients who are underserved because we run a system we can't finance, we don't pay our bills, even with the federal support temporary, at present for the Medicaid expansion. And then number 2, all those who are paying full freight in the private health insurance market. Boy. I got to call my real estate agent after the show.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Quite the moon on the way to work this morning. Later today, we're going to have partly sunny skies. It will be cooler Actually, 20 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 32 degrees. So winter is back. Tonight, we go into the teens. And then tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be cold with some clouds, a high of 32. And on Sunday, cold with periods of clouds and sunshine, a little bit warmer, a high of 38. Let's see how Lakeshore Drive is doing after that deadly overnight accident. Here's Jim Talamonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is still closed between Jackson and Roosevelt. This wreck between a car and a minivan happened just after 1 o'clock this morning, and it still has the southbound side of Lakeshore Drive closed there, and Balboa is blocked as well between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. Farther south, Lakeshore Drive has reopened between the Stevenson 31st. That was a closure due to overnight construction. On the inbound Bishop Ford, seeing a little bit of a delay now. Cottage Grove to the merge, and the inbound Rhine, as usual, slow 18th into the Burn Circle, just a 1 or 2 minute delay there. The other expressways and tollways still look good. There is a fire. It's reported on the northwest side. It's at Belmont and Milwaukee Avenue near Pulaski. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/start now. That's ZipRecruiter.com/start now.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your problem, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
They are here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We will deal with this cable news show host, Samantha Bee.
Oh, and the cancer patient?
Who she called a Nazi. We'll have that at 5:38.
And then later, math can be hard for women. There's proof. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
27 degrees, clear skies, winds north at 13. That will give us a wind chill this morning of 15 above. The data firm FactSet is forecasting a healthy 186,000 new jobs created in February. The unemployment rate, it says, will drop to 4.7% in the first full month under President Donald Trump. The ouster of South Korea's president by the Constitutional Court amid a corruption scandal today triggered violent protests in Seoul involving supporters and opponents of Park Geun-hye. Officials say 2 men were killed and 30 protesters have been severely hurt. Hundreds of airline flights canceled in Germany due to a strike by ground crews. Some 2,000 personnel will stay off the job until tomorrow. Washington State Attorney Bob Ferguson says he'll ask a federal judge to find his Attorney General's order last month halting Donald Trump's initial travel ban apply to the revised ban as well. Several states are going to fight the travel restrictions, which bars new visas for people from 6 predominantly Muslim countries: Somalia, Iran, Syria, Sudan, Libya, and Yemen. 1 man is dead, 2 others hurt, following a 2-vehicle crash early this morning near Grant Park. Police say a minivan was heading south in Chicago on Lakeshore Drive, colliding head-on with a car making a left turn onto Balbo. No one in custody following a shooting that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others on Chicago's south side. Police say the victims were found shot early this morning at a gas station in the 100 block of East 51st. Chicago police may soon get one of their items on their wish list. An Illinois Senate panel yesterday approving a plan for tougher sentences for repeat gun offenders. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson telling lawmakers that criminals are not fearing the judicial system. Bears moving on without quarterback Jay Cutler. Bears releasing the veteran after 8 seasons with the team. They add free agent quarterback Mike Glennon in a deal unofficially worth $45 million, $19 million guaranteed. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks last night. One and done for the Fighting Illini in the Big Ten basketball tournament, blown out by Michigan, while Northwestern romped over Rutgers 83-61. The news, a service of Cabela's, and Cabela's Spring Great Outdoor Days now here. Family events, amazing deals, your one stop before the water. Get 30% off all in stock Cabela rods, reels, and fishing line. Stop in and save this week at Cabela's in Hammond and Hoffman Estates. 5:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is for an investigation in response to President Trump's claims of wiretapping.
I've been reevaluating the thought about a special prosecutor. I need a special prosecutor. We need a bipartisan committee and oversight and go into this and let's investigate it all. Let's look at everything the Obama administration has done, the Trump administration with its supposed ties to Russia. Get it all out there.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
The website upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show, podcasts of our Illinois Rising program, which covers politics and policy at the state and local level, commentaries by yours truly this week's focusing on picking up our wounded on the political battlefield, man on the street, follow the logic segments, which are always entertaining and illuminating, as well as long-form interviews, still featuring CNBC's Jim Urio talking Trump economic policy. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work
14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down, my blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free, and we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
5:35. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In Chicago, downtown near Grant Park, there's still a closure of southbound Lakeshore Drive from Jackson to Roosevelt after the overnight collision at Balbo. There's also a closure of Balbo in both directions in Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. Northbound, the drive is open, and road work farther south near the Stevenson has cleared. Northwest side of Chicago, a fire has been put out. This on Milwaukee Avenue right near Belmont. There have been injuries, and there are still fire crews at the scene. On the inbound Stevenson, traffic is stop and go, State to Lakeshore Drive, 2 or 3 minute delay. Ryan has a 2-minute delay coming into downtown Bishop Ford, a 1-minute delay from Cottage Grove to the merge. Traffic is a service of Liberty Mutual. Weather to traffic and everything in between, you have enough things to worry about every day. Insurance shouldn't be one of them. You can leave worry behind, but Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Partly sunny, breezy, colder, high 32. Partly cloudy and cold, 16 overnight. Currently in Chicago, we have 27. Along Chicago's lakefront, your next news update is at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So there's this show on TBS, I think, called Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. She used to be one of the correspondents on The Daily Show.
Right.
And she was actually kind of like a funny interviewer on The Daily Show, which shows you how good the writers were there, because her show is shrill, left, unwatchable.
Yeah,
it is not funny. It's angry and unfair and
it's like a bad horror film. That's what I can compare it to.
Well, it's just very low rent, too.
Yeah.
It's scatological. It's disgusting. There's nothing ladylike about her at all. She's grotesque. And the latest example of that has Full Frontal turning their hindquarters.
Hey-o.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is a piece that they did on CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee, a couple weeks back.
That's funny. They're going to make fun of conservatives.
Yeah,
That's
boy.
a real good segment. Ooh.
The courage.
Yeah.
The
Who
courage
came up with that one?
takes to...
Let's find odd-looking Republicans and make them look really stupid. Or try to.
Well, it wasn't like they interviewed anyone. They just did B-roll, and they, made snarky commentary, which, Mystery Science Theater 3000 can pull off. Samantha Bee and her team cannot. Here's how this went down.
Michael Rubin, right? Or Rubins? Wasn't he the reporter who was sent out to cover this?
They're fungible.
Okay.
And you'll excuse the bleeps because, of course, they use profanity throughout their segment and throughout their show, because they're cool.
Just last year, CPAC was dominated by Ted Cruz supporters.
CPAC!
And chirpy little with bow ties. But Donald Trump, worried about a poor reception, canceled his appearance.
He was considered more of a joke. Like back then, this was Ted Cruz country.
This year, the bow ties were gone, replaced by Nazi hair. Nazi hair, Nazi hair.
Nazi hair, one of the individuals pictured with quote-unquote Nazi hair working on his laptop in the B-roll that they presented, turns out to be a young man named Kyle Coddington. And Kyle Coddington has a different haircut than he'd normally have because he's been undergoing chemotherapy and radiation for stage 4 brain cancer.
Yeah, it's glioblastoma, which is an aggressive form of brain cancer. And he, even on one of his pages, social media pages, said that, the chances are slim that they will not find a cure because it's such an aggressive form of brain cancer, but he's going to still try. And I read that. I mean, he's a 28-year-old kid. And for them to just ridicule him and not know his story and make fun of him for his haircut it's sinful. I think the show should be yanked, but
well, it should be yanked because
reasons.
It's unwatchable. I mean, I don't know what the ratings are. We deeply apologize. A tweet that Samantha B issued. We deeply apologize for offending Kyle in our CPAC segment. We only learned of his condition today and have removed him from the piece. What's that thing when you make a judgment about someone without knowing anything about them? What's that thing called again? What is that? Oh, well, that's one form of it. Prejudice.
Prejudice, racist.
Right? Isn't that? Wait, I thought the left's raison d'etre was to combat such conduct.
Well, guess what they did, Dan? Full frontal with Samantha B. They decided to donate to Coddington's GoFundMe page. I think they need to add a few more zeros because guess how much money they've donated?
$100.
No, $1,000.
Oh, $1,000.
Well, I think they should donate $10,000. They should throw on some more zeros.
I think it's probably indicative of the ratings and what kind of cash flow they have. So if I was Kyle, I'd return the money, $1,000.
Really? Yeah, right now his GoFundMe page is at $18,895.
Well, on a related topic, the topic being the lobotomized left, there's this tweet that you alerted us to, which is heap big fun. The Women's March.
I'm still recovering.
A day without woman.
A day without woman. How was your day without woman?
Well, I didn't get one because you showed up.
I know. I was going to say every day is a day without woman for Dan Proft. Oh, I'm sorry.
Only these 4 hours.
Too
soon? You're right. The other 20. Yeah. Exactly. I go back to the cave in which this troglodyte dwells.
But the Women's March, they have their own Twitter handler, and they decided to tweet something.
Well, they were tweeting a lot of celebrating going on, like the remarks of one Nalini Stamp from the Working Families Party, who provided a little bit of truth, a little bit of a factoid to frame the day.
Yeah, she tweeted out, women birth half the population, and we are half the population.
Exclamation point.
Yes. Okay, do you want to work through that one? Or should I? Because, I know you still have your stretch marks. This might be kind of too soon for you.
I have two questions. One is, and I ask these questions with great trepidation. One is, who births the other half of the population? And number two, is mandatory remedial biology part of the Working Families Party platform?
Do you know your own anatomy? 312-642-5600 is the turnkey.pro line. I mean, really, it can't get any crazier than this. Just when you're trying to pull for it, like, can you make some sense of your movement, of why you took off work? And then you have the Women's March retweeting this quote by Stamp.
I guess this is the natural conclusion to be drawn from men who say we're pregnant. I guess maybe that's what she's referring to.
No, I mean, they're saying that math is hard, especially if you're part of the Women's March. Oh.
Well, I mean, look, it was a tough day. It's been a tough week. You have a day without a woman protest thing, which was kind of a dud, kind of a big nothing burger. And then you have another female head of state following on the former female heads of state in Argentina and Brazil, who's removed from office, Park Geun-hye. Park Geun-hye. Park Geun-hye. You got to say it fast. Park Geun-hye.
Park Geun-hye? Park Geun-hye?
Park Geun-hye. She is the former president of South Korea who was removed from office for amid allegations of bribery. So you had another female head of state go down in addition to a Day Without a Woman protest that just didn't materialize how they had hoped, I think, including with the factoids they were presenting to rally the population against whatever it is exactly they're rallying against.
People are upset that she was impeached because the parliament upheld the decision to impeach her. So 2 people actually died in South Korea last night protesting that. And they're also protesting the incoming president, who they say is very liberal. And they don't like that. So but most of the people, the majority of people in South Korea approve of the fact that she was impeached.
Well, that's good. It's different than, say, Illinois, where a majority of the people approve of bribery. Joe in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, I'm really ashamed of you. You should know better that gender is fluid.
Yes.
So that's why 50% gave birth.
Yes, but I mean, so how do you describe men giving birth? How should I understand this, Joe?
Well, because at that time she probably thought she was a man.
I see. There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
Think about women birth half the population, and we are half the population.
No, it's.
I mean, how could you? I know math is hard on days that end in Y.
I want to let that.
But ladies, let's think before we tweet.
I want to let that wash over me. I wasn't paying so much attention because I'm reading this new book, 266-page book called "Reasons to Vote for Democrats: A Comprehensive Guide."
Oh, really?
Did
you put a copy on my desk?
The other is Michael J. Knowles, and it's 266 blank pages. You can buy it for $9.99 on Amazon.
Serious?
Yeah.
It's a real page turner.
It's a bestseller.
Is that what you're saying?
Although it's one of the
doodle book. I mean, what is?
You could do it that way. I'm thinking about doing a book where you just take all the stories that we report on each day. You just cut and paste all the news items. You don't have to. No comment is required with the Samantha Bees and the Working Families Party leading the Day Without a Woman protest out there. I mean, you can just really cut and paste news stories and come up with a few hundred pages, and an easy way to make money.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, today winter returns. At least it's going to feel like that. We have 22 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 32 degrees. And then it will be breezy. And then tonight, a low of 16. And Saturday for the St. Patrick's Day parade downtown, you're going to have cold conditions with some sun and clouds, a high of 32. And on Sunday for the Southside Irish Parade, it's going to be cold with periods of clouds and sunshine, a high of 38. And do not forget to spring ahead this weekend. So, sorry, Dan, you need sleep, but you're going to have one less hour.
Tiny Dancer better wear his parka over his tutu.
Let's go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Lakeshore Drive southbound remains closed from Jackson to Roosevelt after a crash overnight at Balbo. This happened just after 1 o'clock this morning involving a car and a minivan. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is open, but southbound remains shut down. Elsewhere on the expressways and tollways, things are starting to get a little heavier, mainly on the south side expressways. Stevenson slow, Central to Pulaski, and State to Lakeshore Drive. 38 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Alpine fine at 34. About Ryan delays start around 31st. 19 minutes, 90-50 downtown. Bishop Ford, 16 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Now Eisenhower is getting a little congestion now around 25th Avenue. The other expressways and tollways for now have no delays to report. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word trial to 303030 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text trial to 303030. and get started for free right now. Again, text TRIAL to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-5952. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. To receive your 10-day in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-400-5952. Again, that's 1-800-400-5952.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's why people are talking about Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable too.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference. ShootPointBlank.com for more information.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have spring fever. Consumer confidence is up, and that means spending. We want folks to enjoy what they've worked so hard for, but don't forget...
Craig, are you trying to tell me something? I know. Retirement's right around the corner.
Listen, a new season is time for regrowth and building on what you already have. You don't need to do it alone if you have Wealth Management Group at your side.
Spring into action to make Wealth Management Group your go-to partner, and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Shooting the rock. Ooh.
Oh, brother.
Well, Dad, you're a hoopster. You played basketball. You played organized sports in high school. Because it's a big deal to make high school basketball. Because it's, you're kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can help me out here. I have a little bit of a moral conundrum. Since I coach girls or help coach girls basketball at Blaine, 5th and 6th grade girls, I got an invitation to go to Blaine Dad's Got Game. It's the annual Dad's Got Game basketball tournament. This is how they're selling it. It's an exciting, action-packed event, benefits Blaine Middle School sports. So join us for an afternoon of fun to show off your hoop skills. The tournament is open to all dads, regardless of skill or fitness level. Hope to see you there.
Or gender identification.
So here's the deal.
This is the we're pregnant crowd of dads.
This is, it's Blaine. I love Blaine. I'm a big fan. I know you know.
You're a fan of Catholic bigotry. I know.
Stop it. I'm a big Blue Jay fan. But they asked me to participate in the Blaine Dad's Got Game. And so the traditionalist in me, I emailed him back and said, well, let me think about it. And then I immediately got another email saying, no. This isn't gender biased. This isn't just for dads.
Gender biased.
That's what they said.
Men playing basketball is characterized as gender biased. Why don't you tell those dandies to take their pea hats off and just play basketball or whatever facsimile of basketball they're going to play?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Our text line is 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. The thing is that they don't have, Blaine Mom's Got Game. So since they don't have that, they have to open it up to everybody.
No, they have to? Or they choose to?
They choose to. I guess they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So my boys don't want me to play.
No, it's going to be lame. Maybe the game will change because they'll all mince around you like fairies and it's going to be.
See, I don't think so.
I mean, I wouldn't.
I play tough.
Oh.
I don't play like a girl.
Yeah, okay. If I was playing you, I would set a tone for the game. If I was playing in a game that you were playing, and I would set a tone for the game. I go to the hoop with my left. I give you a little forearm shiver with my right.
You do the crossover too, yeah.
Probably break your nose.
Rip me?
As well as, yeah.
When I'm going up for the shot?
As well as you kind of figuratively break your ankles. But with my Tim Hardaway nasty crossover.
Wow, you have it all planned out how you're going to take me down.
So that's the way I would go to say that, no, you're not going to ruin my game and my enjoyment of the game.
But I don't think that they treat me any differently. I really don't. If I got in the game, because there's all different skill levels. Some dads are really good. Some dads aren't so good and probably shouldn't be playing, but it's okay. We're open,
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just have like a little shoot around, little Nancy boy shoot around then? If you're just gonna, have 10 people kind of milling about, bumping into each other and disgracing the game.
They're not. I mean, I've been to these events. It's a pretty big deal because we have 900
it's like
students.
It's a social event, and Dr. James Naismith is spinning in his grave.
No, it's at the Broadway Armory. It's a big venue, and it's always a sellout. So I just
oh boy, because of the quality of the basketball.
No, because it's a fundraiser and it's fun to see dads, muscle around, and there's always a fight every year. Not a fight, but a scuffle.
They'll do Ole, like any guy who knows how to play. He'll do like an Ole defense. You'll get the ball and they'll let you dribble up to the hoop and shoot a layup, and then everybody will cheer. And it'll be a waste of an afternoon.
All right, so you're saying I shouldn't do it?
No, I say you should.
Really?
I say you should. You're more man than most of the people, most of those fathers at Blaine. I don't know, but I suspect. And I don't think I'm far off the mark.
If you save $500,000 in an IRA or 401k, you know it's not really $500,000, right? Because you still have to pay taxes on that money. But here's something that will shock you. Some people will pay through the nose in taxes when they withdraw money from their retirement accounts, while a smart and savvy few will legally pay far less. Could you potentially save thousands of dollars in taxes on your IRA or 401k and keep this money for yourself? Yes, you could. Learn how in a free report called 6 Ways to Tax-Free Income in Retirement from me, Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour. The free report could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Call 630-873-6326. It's your choice. Pay the IRS or keep this money for yourself. Call 630-873-6326 or visit us on alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Hey, your company's IT partner should be more than just a place you call when you're having computer problems. Today, IT is about a relationship between the software company and you, the people who work with it. And that's where Turnkey IT is different. They're an IT company and a people company. They help people use IT better. People need help from computers and servers to cloud-based systems, cybersecurity, advanced phone systems. People also need help finding out what's out there and how to implement exactly what they need, all with the support of an experienced team that resolves issues quickly. People remember the good experiences they receive when working with Turnkey IT. Shouldn't your business receive the same white glove treatment? See what other AM 560 listeners already know about Turnkey IT. Local, reputable, compassionate, experienced. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey IT just does IT better. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
5:57. Let's check our roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound Lakeshore Drive remains closed from Jackson to Roosevelt after an overnight crash at Balbo. The northbound side is open. Inbound Eisenhower traffic slows from 25th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 5 to 29. No delays yet on the Edens or the Kennedy. On Stevenson, delays start at Harlem. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, just a little slow approaching the Ryan. Traffic, service of Little Caesars, home of the large $5 hot and ready pepperoni pizza. Little Caesars, where you can enjoy the new Smokehouse pizza for only $9. It's real tasty barbecue from Little Caesars, but only here for a limited time, plus tax, at participating locations. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full report from Fox News. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with partial sunshine, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high 32. Partly cloudy night tonight, low 16. Clouds followed by some sun tomorrow with a high 32. And at night, partly cloudy, low 17. Clouds and sun for Sunday, high 38. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
The news, a service of Liberty Mutual. From news to weather to traffic and everything in between, you've had enough things to worry about every day. Now, insurance should not be one of them. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. At 5:58, here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. One man is dead, 2 others hurt following a 2-vehicle crash early this morning near Grant Park on Lakeshore Drive in downtown Chicago. Police say a minivan heading south on Lakeshore Drive collided head-on with a car making a left turn onto Belleville. No one in custody following a shooting that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others on Chicago's south side. Police say the victims were found shot early this morning in a gas station in the 100 block of East 51st. Chicago gang leader who received a $25 million settlement in 2012 for a wrongful murder conviction is heading back to prison. Thaddeus Jimenez was sentenced yesterday to more than 9 years behind bars for shooting a man in the legs in 2015 on the Northwest Side. Jimenez was first sent to prison for murder in 1993. Bears moving on without quarterback Jay Cutler and are set to add free agent quarterback Mike Glennon. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks last night at the United Center. 27 degrees. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. President Trump personally pitching the health care bill that so far has passed 2 House committees. He's invited committee chairmen to the White House later this morning for a health care discussion. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Lisa, the president hosted a bowling party at the White House last night to try to win over hardline conservatives. Senator Rand Paul says the legislation is dead on arrival in the upper chamber.
I'm not the only voice saying this. And so what they should do is clean it up.
Senator Paul and others want a clean repeal without tax credits. House Speaker Paul Ryan rolled up his sleeves and gave a PowerPoint presentation explaining the GOP health care bill.
Obamacare is in a death spiral. It is not getting any better. It's getting worse.
The bill could go to the House Budget and Rules Committee as soon as next week. Lisa.
Rachel, 6 states are now suing over the president's revised immigration order. Massachusetts, New York, and Oregon, and Minnesota joining a Washington state suit over the same constitutional questions as the original. Hawaii's lawsuit is separate, focusing in part on tourism impacts. A military scandal over secretly photographed women expands beyond the Marines. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with this live.
Lisa, this report from the BBC says male service members from all military branches have been part of the sharing of nude photos of women on an anonymous site. They post photos of clothed women colleagues and ask anybody on the message board if they have any wins. That's the term for nude photos. This comes after reports that nude photos were also shared on a Facebook page, and Marine officials say there are still at least half a dozen sites like this out there. 2 female Marines, 1 active duty and 1 veteran, say their pictures were posted without their consent. They've hired an attorney, Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. Violent protests erupting in South Korea after the president was removed from office in a corruption scandal. 2 people killed, some 30 protesters and police injured. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Do you own or run a business in Illinois that succeeded in this challenging economic environment? If so, we want to hear about it. AM 560's Business Tour 2017, presented by Signature Bank, will be highlighting business success stories. Tell us your story and be a part of a live broadcast of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Find out more and submit your information at 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Writing job descriptions, sifting through resumes, setting up interviews. Hiring's hard, but Indeed.com makes it easier. Post your job, manage candidates, schedule interviews, all on Indeed. And since independent research shows that Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, easy works. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're gonna be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. Simplysafe.com/radio.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Paul Ryan using pictures to try and explain Obamacare repeal to the D.C. press corps, trying to slow it down, stop using words and wonkish policy talk that befuddles the D.C. press corps.
The 25-minute PowerPoint presentation. It was good. It had, pie charts, graphs. He had all the bells and whistles, rolled up his sleeves.
And
but he's a great communicator. I love Paul Ryan.
And he offered, this conclusion to critics, particularly conservative critics, of what has been proposed.
We as Republicans have been waiting 7 years to do this. We as Republicans who fought the creation of this law and accurately predicted that it would not work, ran for office in 2010, in 2012, in 2014, and in 2016 on a promise that we would, if given the ability, we would repeal and replace this law. How many people running for Congress and the Senate did you hear say that? How many times did you hear President Donald Trump, when he was candidate Donald Trump, say that? This is the closest we will ever get to repealing and replacing Obamacare.
So are you compelled by that argument? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Look, I give Paul Ryan credit for marketing the proposal and addressing criticisms, some from the left, but he's mainly worried about a unified Republican Party in the House and to some extent in the Senate, so he can move this repeal replace by and by the spring, all three phases. And that's exactly what Mike Pence said yesterday when he was on with Brett Baer, who will be on our show. Brett Baer will be at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. Here's Vice President Pence.
Obamacare will be gone, and it will be replaced with the kind of health care system that gives the American people more choices in their health insurance and gives states more freedom and more flexibility to provide Medicaid in the best way they see fit for our most vulnerable.
And now remember, Mike Pence was a very conservative member of Congress, of the House Republican caucus. Now you can say, well, he's on board because this is the Trump-Paul Ryan plan, and they are in agreement, and Trump is going on a little field trip with conservative members who have qualms about the Obamacare replacement next week. They're going to do a little bowling party.
Yeah, they went bowling last night. Actually, they went bowling and had some pizza. And
Aren't
today, Vice President
more?
Pence is, it's a day-to-day thing. There's events scheduled every day. I think they have a picnic over the weekend. But Vice President Pence is meeting with conservative leaders again later today as well. So I heard that they went bowling last night, unless I got that wrong.
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, it's the interesting thing about Trump's reaction to critics of what he is supporting, this replacement bill that is being marketed by Paul Ryan, at least at the point of it, is that he's not going after them personally. He understands there are substantive disagreements. Conservatives like Mark Meadows, who's the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, Republican from North Carolina, has said, look, I'm willing to negotiate with Donald Trump. Here are the concerns I have. Talk to President Trump. And happy to negotiate with them. So there's disagreement, which is okay. Disagreement is not the same thing as chaos. Disagreement is not the same thing as a meltdown. And I say that as someone who is used to seeing disagreement within Republican circles in Illinois be treated as some kind of act of disloyalty. Whoever has the title and whatever they say, we're supposed to genuflect before it. We can't have substantive disagreements about policy choices or strategic or tactical decisions in furtherance of particular policy choices. And that's just silliness. And so Trump is handling this properly by letting people have their say, letting people criticize the substance of it. He doesn't like some of the monikers, Obamacare Light, as we talked about yesterday.
Like that. But healthcare reform's an albatross. I mean, it's going to be slow and it could get a little ugly, but it's not a fast process. And you have some conservatives, on the right that they need to please their base. And they, of course, they don't like, tax credits for certain groups. But then also there's something else that we're kind of the age tax. Have you studied that yet? If when you're 65, there's an age tax that would help subsidize the younger kids who don't have to pay as much. So the older people will pay more later on in life.
I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to there, but I do want to get to one of the criticisms that's being launched from the left. So let's talk about some of their criticisms too, because they're essentially playing the class envy politics that they normally play on topics such as this. And so Rahm Emanuel is a good example of what the left is trying to do, to single out one of the $1 trillion worth of Obamacare taxes that has been proposed for repeal by what House and Senate Republicans are doing. And here's Rahm Emanuel yesterday at some function talking about the replacement bill after being questioned about it.
Now, I have not had a chance to go through the whole bill, but I have read parts of it, and at least called the family expert, my older brother. And my fears, which is true, and that is more people are going to lose health care. You're going to get away from the cost containment that has happened, and it's directly going to impact poor and working poor or working lower middle classes' access to quality care because of the way it's designed. And so I don't think this is a good step in the direction. And there are two facts that are not in dispute. One, since Obamacare, we're at the lowest level of people uninsured and the highest level of people insured. Two, healthcare inflation has been at its lowest level in decades.
Yeah, those two facts are actually in considerable dispute. Number one, for example, the Blue Choice that's the Blue Choice Preferred PPO that's offered by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, 59% premium spike last year, the largest single increase, 1 year increase in the history of Blue Cross Blue Shield in Illinois. And Paul Ryan went through other states that have seen premium increases on par with that or significantly higher, most notably Arizona, which was 116% premium increase last year. You don't control, quote unquote, healthcare inflation, which is to say health insurance prices for consumers, when you eliminate competition, which of course has also happened, as Dr. Tom Price has mentioned, a third of counties in this country with only one health insurance plan provider. That's monopoly. That's not competition. That doesn't reduce costs for the consumer. And oh, by the way, that's the point. In addition to the more coverage argument, titularly covering more people is not the same thing as giving them access to quality care. Case in point, Illinois' Medicaid system. You run a system you can't finance. You don't pay bills. Fewer providers take Medicaid patients. So those people that are technically covered actually see their access to quality care reduced. For them, for the left, it's always about the inputs. We put an umbrella over people. Well, there are holes right above my head and my part of the umbrella because you made the umbrella out of material that can't sustain the rainfall. So Emanuel is being disingenuous. Of course he is. And he refers to the ghoulish Zeke Emanuel, his death panel proponent brother, 75 and out, as the expert on the topic. So that gets you where he's coming from. But he also mentioned this tax break for healthcare insurance company executives, tax break for the wealthy. This is one of the arguments that's coming from Democrats. And this was an exchange between Tucker Carlson and Paul Ryan on this very topic yesterday. So judge for yourself in terms of who is presenting the more noble case here. And Tucker Carlson, the way he questions Paul Ryan on this topic, he sounds like Rahm Emanuel.
Let's get to the tax policy. So as I understand it, and I'm just reading this, so I may have it wrong, but there's an investment tax in here, the net investment income tax. And as far as I know, it only kicks in on couples making over $250,000 a year. So it's a tax on wealthy investors, and you're eliminating it. In a healthcare 3.8% tax, yeah. That's exactly right. So I guess my question is, looking at the last election, was the message of that election really, we need to help investors? I mean, the Dow is over 20,000. Are they really the group that needs the help?
This was a tax on capital income, which is bad for economic growth. It's basically a capital gains tax increase, effectively, to finance Obamacare. We're undoing Obamacare, so we're not going to keep Obamacare taxes in place. So all of these taxes, $1 trillion tax cut that this bill represents, that is part of that $1 trillion tax increase that was in Obamacare to finance Obamacare.
No, I know, but
we're repealing. No, but we promised we would repeal the Obamacare taxes. This is one of the Obamacare taxes, so we're keeping our promise. And by the way, it's bad tax policy because it's bad bad for economic growth. And we're also repealing the Obamacare spending. So we're getting rid of its taxing and we're getting rid of its spending. And this is us keeping our word.
For those who think that, Paul Ryan, whatever your disagreements, and I have some with him about particular votes and particular proposals, but you think he's just some kind of pushover who's not truly interested in growth. He's just trying to do whatever's politically expedient. He's not interested in keeping promise. He's just a flim-flam man. This is a good example that suggests he's not that's an unfair description. So he's not going to be bullied by the left or bullied by Tucker Carlson, who's making a bizarre argument. And he's not just asking questions. Those were pointed, leading questions about this anti-growth tax that's a part of the Obamacare taxes. And as Paul Ryan said, the promise was we're repealing the Obamacare taxes and repealing the Obamacare spending to get to a repeal and replace of Obamacare in toto. That is perfectly sensible, even though I, too, harbor concerns about the form it takes. But you have to look at the form taken by House Republican leaders, starting with the Speaker, in the context of what you think you can ultimately get done through the Senate that is 8 votes short of the filibuster-proof majority Republicans need. So I just want to kind of pump the brakes a little bit with some conservatives that want to treat Paul Ryan like he's Nancy Pelosi. He's not. Verlin on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How y'all doing today? All right, now, Dan, first I want to give you credit. You politely took me apart on the radio the other day. You didn't get on me hard, but you took my conversation apart.
Verlin, we're gonna have lots of time to talk when we are on the beach in Punta Cana together.
He's going to take you along.
You're
ready to go?
Verlin, are you ready to be my +1?
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay, Verlin, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got the trump card for you today. Okay, now this is how the Democrats are going to pick it apart. Now, me and you, we talked about this. You feel that every individual should pay for their health care. I like employer-based health coverage. Now, if you make 16.5 down, how the left is going to say, how are they going to be able to afford paying health care? Are they going? You want people that make that type of money to pay for their own kids' education, and they can barely pay rent and they can barely put food on the table. That's what they're going to tell you. And you know what's going to happen? When it all comes down to it, they're going to beat you over the head with you don't care about the poor, you don't care about the working poor or the poor, and in a year and a half, you're going to give the Democrats the Senate and the House because they're going to beat you over the head with it for the next 2 years. You're going to lose the Senate or the House, one of the two or both.
Well,
that's what's going to happen.
Well, so I'm not sure I get why you think that's the case. I mean, one of the arguments that's been made by conservatives is that you've got this tax credit, which is a de facto entitlement. I mean, it's a transfer payment, and it's a wide range of income levels. So, and Paul Ryan made this point yesterday, too, in his PowerPoint presentation, that there's going to be a stable transition from the Obamacare death spiral to the new health insurance landscape, such that people who have some health insurance right now, some coverage, however inadequate, they're not going to have it disappear, the day after some new legal regime is put in place. There will be a stable transition. So I know the Democrats are going to make the class envy argument. They're going to make the you don't care about the poor, you're racist, you're homophobe, you're xenophobe, all the arguments they always make. But in terms of what people experience, I think it's going to be hard for them to tell people they're experiencing something they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the tax credits, that they had to put that in, like I said the other day, they had to put that in there to try to help the poor their way, because when it's all said and done, you don't have to sign up for it. You can always go my route, negotiate your health care through a job. You work for less pay, but get your health coverage.
Or association plans. I mean, Paul Ryan talked about association plans by industry, restaurateurs getting together, working through the, for example, the Illinois Restaurant Association having an association plan, or different sectors doing it that way, allowing people to kind of voluntarily aggregate into pools that buy insurance as a pool and achieve savings through economies of scale, through
a lot of unions
enough purchasing power.
Yeah, after SAG, a lot of unions provide the health insurance.
Sure,
and not the
that's right.
employer. And that's
Well,
good.
that's right.
And a lot of people work so that they could have health insurance, honestly, because they know something's going to be coming down the pipe, and they figure, I better get a job, even though it's not my favorite job, but at least I'll be covered.
There's also tax treatment, equalization of tax treatment for people who purchase health insurance individually versus those who receive it via their employer. Paul Ryan has talked about that to make the system a little bit more fair in terms of the tax treatment. So, I think there are certainly imperfections here. It's not a truly pure free market proposal, but you're not going to get a truly free market proposal through the Senate. The expansion of health savings accounts, for example, empowering the consumer, that is, and doing a better job of connecting consumer to provider, that's positive. So, I hear what you're saying, Verlin, but I'm not sure if Republicans don't get pushed around. And so far, I don't think they're getting pushed around. And Trump is not a guy inclined to get pushed around. That the Democrats are going to win by making the same argument they make on every policy, every cycle. They're a super minority party for a reason. That doesn't mean that there aren't vulnerabilities. There are. But it's not clear to me that this is some kind of dead bang loser, particularly if you have the impact of the new legal regime felt before the 2018 election, and it gives lie to the agitprop that the left is putting out there about the new legal regime with health insurance. I mean, it'll be interesting if they think that after losing the House and the Senate, at least in part because of Obamacare and Republicans effectively making the elections, those midterm elections, referendums on Obamacare, that they turn around in 2018 and make the election a referendum on going back to Obamacare. Obamacare's not any more popular today, really, than it was in those previous cycles. And so I think Democrats have a problem just demagoguing this issue if their solution is to say go back to something that's just as, if not more, unpopular, so long as people feel what the new reality is and start to see, for example, health insurance be cheaper than it is under the spiraling premium increases with Obamacare. But appreciate the call as always, Verlin. Thanks for your thoughts.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Today, plenty of cool temperatures, that's for sure. It is 24 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 32 degrees. We have a very busy weekend, and you're going to start off with a cold one tonight at a low of 16, 10 in Aurora. So we're back to winter-like conditions. Saturday, cold with clouds, some sun, a high of 32. And on Sunday, when you spring ahead, yes, springtime saving is here. It's going to be cold with periods of clouds and sun, a high of 38. And don't forget the Southside Irish Parade is on Sunday, and the St. Patrick's Day Parade downtown is Saturday at noon at Columbus and Balbo. Let's get the latest on the roadways. Here is Jim Talamonte, who joins us from our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Amy. And crowds will be gathering early tomorrow morning downtown for that river dying as well, maybe a frozen Green River. In downtown Chicago, there is some good news on Lakeshore Drive. The drive is open again now between Jackson and Roosevelt. It had been closed southbound for about 5 hours. There was a crash just after 1 o'clock this morning involving a car and a minivan. Pretty major wreck that had the drive shut down. It's all open again now after the crash at Balbo, and Balbo's open too. Plainfield got a collision at 30 and 127th. Kennedy inbound slow, Cumberland to Canfield. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 20. Eden still good. The Eisenhower 43 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 32. The crash at Wolf Road in the right lane. Stevenson is 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tollways are still clear. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Calling all business owners. Are you running your business without being incorporated? If you answered yes, you are now eligible to incorporate in just 10 minutes. It's a quick incorporation event from Incorporate.com, designed to save small business owners from the risk of losing everything. Just call this number for your free 10-minute incorporation guide, 1-800-300-5124. If you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too, which means you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why small business owners across the country are now scrambling to incorporate during this event. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide while supplies last. 1-800-300-5124. Incorporate.com doesn't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. But hurry and call now while they're still giving these 10-minute incorporation guides away for free. Call 1-800-300-5124. That's 1-800-300-5124.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My water heater broke down.
Sorry, but your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover water heater breakdowns.
So, what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my water heater?
I'm afraid not.
But his water heater could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus components of 20 other major home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-339-4151. Home insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Life happens. Have a plan. Get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-339-4151. That's 1-800-339-4151. 1-800-339-4151.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses, one that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about the arguments over the form and the function of the Obamacare replacement legislation that's advancing in the House, out of Ways and Means, out of Energy and Commerce, the reconciliation phase to be followed by the administrative rulemaking phase at HHS by Dr. Tom Price, to be followed by a full-on legislative phase that will require 60 votes in the Senate, right?
You think they'll get there?
That last part is going to be the
a little
trick,
dicey,
but I think they are going to get there. And Mike Pence on with Brett Berry yesterday says this is going to be wrapped up this spring, so they're fast-tracking it. Mike on the North Side, president of the LGBT Party, Love, Guns, Bacon, Trump.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Good morning. Verlander hit on a good point about the working poor. Now, because of the government, I am the working poor. I went from middle class to lower middle class to now the working poor. I need the government to stop. Stop interfering in my life. Stop interfering with businesses, putting regulations on. You make it harder for anyone to do business. I work 2 jobs. I own a 3-flat. And everything there's regulations. The government stepped in. They embezzled off my pension. The government stepped in and they helped competitors. The government stepped in and that idiot Dart tells people, oh, you don't have to pay rent. We won't evict anybody between November and April. You are encouraging bad behavior. People living at home now live better than people. People who don't work and just lounge around at home are living better than people that work. You had that idiot Quinn lose an election because the CHA was paying $3,000 a month for people on welfare to live in luxury high-rises.
Yes, the super
The
vouchers.
gravy train's over. There's no marrow left in the bone. The carcass is gone. They had a great thing in this country called a work ethic. You want something, you can have whatever you want. Just go work and pay for it.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Rob in St. Charles. Hey, Rob.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I don't understand the affordable part of this healthcare bullshit.
Hello. Oh,
Sorry, man.
Rob. So, did we get?
It's a family show.
Okay, Rob.
All right, you're good. Go on.
Now this has to be G-rated. The language now.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Um,
You don't understand the affordable part. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my son he's turning 26 today. Okay, and I understand he's got to get off my insurance. He's got to get his own insurance. So we were going over it last night. He's working 2 part-time jobs. He's a firefighter. He's getting into medic school, and he works at a animal shelter.
Okay.
This week he worked 99 hours, and I don't understand the affordable part. It's almost $300 a month for insurance with a deductible of $7,500.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Thanks for the
And
call.
he doesn't want to apply for this government help because my daughter did that and she got penalized.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Rob, we got to run. I'm sorry. Thanks for the call, though. I appreciate the story. These are stories that are ubiquitous, and so the question is, the GOP replacement, how quickly it can address stories like that, so people seal the substantive change between now and 2018, which is why they're fast tracking the replacement.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
We're on the road on our AM 560 business tour presented by Signature Bank. This past Wednesday, we were at Zanger's Industrial Supply in Melrose Park. What we're doing is celebrating local businesses overcoming the odds and succeeding in Illinois in spite of the many challenges they face. We're making businesses great again, giving back to the business community by broadcasting our show live from businesses throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business and fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are serving your clients and community. We're still selecting a few more businesses as stops on our AM 560 business tour this spring, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. Again, 560theanswer.com/business. And we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Latest regional property tax analysis that you only get here, the region of focus this week.
Yeah.
West Central Cook County at 6:36.
And later, FBI Director James Comey meets with the Gang of Eight. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
26 degrees. We have sunny skies. Winds north at 14 will actually give you a wind chill headed to the bus stop this morning. 13 above. President Trump stepping up his push for the GOP health care plan under consideration on Capitol Hill. On Wednesday of next week, he'll travel to Nashville for what's being touted as a campaign rally. President Trump called community banks the backbone of his small business push in the U.S.
Community banks play a vital role in helping create jobs by providing approximately half of all loans to small businesses, and that's been dwindling because the community banks have been in big trouble.
At a White House meeting with community bank CEOs, the president saying small businesses must have access to small bank capital. The challenge to the Trump administration's revised travel ban gaining some steam. New York, Massachusetts, Oregon joining together. Minnesota also standing to try and block the travel restrictions from taking effect. A winter storm brings new snow to the Northeast over the weekend. A winter storm warning up from Pittsburgh to southern New England in case you're flying or driving. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson recusing himself from issues related to the Keystone XL pipeline. The ouster of South Korea's president by the Constitutional Court in that country amid a corruption scandal, triggering violent protests today in Seoul. 2 men have been killed. 1 man dead, 2 others hurt following a 2-vehicle crash this morning that is still tying up traffic in Grant Park on Lakeshore Drive. No one in custody following a shooting that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others on Chicago's South Side at a gas station in the 100 block of East 51st. Bears moving on without quarterback Jay Cutler, releasing the veteran, and they're apparently about to sign free agent quarterback Mike Glennon. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks last night, and it's one and done for the Fighting Illini, bounced from the Big Ten basketball tournament by Michigan. The news service of Burger King breakfast. What's the best place to have your breakfast? How about on a warm croissant? Right now at Burger King, get 2 Croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. A light, flaky croissant piled high with savory sausage or delicious, thick-cut smoked bacon. 2 Croissant, $4 only at Burger King. Price and participation vary. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes Israel is in a unique position in more ways than one.
The anti-Israel hatred at the UN is unique. More resolutions passed against Israel than against all other entities combined in the Middle East. Israel is supposed to make peace with people who want it destroyed. It's not something. What exactly do we talk about?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Save 25% on brake pads or shocks at participating Midas through April 2nd. See store for details. Not valid with other offers. Shop and disposal fee extra. Additional parts or services extra if needed.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
Sometimes things don't turn out the way you expect them to, like Chicagoland weather.
It's so unpredictable. Should I wear shorts or do I need a winter coat?
I think the weather people just throw darts at a board and guess. Oh, look, I got rain.
No matter what the weather throws at us, be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm or cool, depending on which way our weather turns. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
6:38. In our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound Lakeshore Drive has opened again entirely. Around Grant Park, there was an overnight wreck at Balbo. The southbound side was closed for hours. Now it's all open. Traffic still a little congested in that area. On the southbound side of Lakeshore Drive from before Jackson to around Roosevelt. Eden's inbound 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 20. Kennedy 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 20. The Eisenhower 52 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 49. Crash at Wolf Road now on the right shoulder. Stevenson 55 minutes. 355 to the drive. The Ryan is 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. The traffic is a service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year? Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less. With storage boxes and filing supplies to software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. Right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. In-store only ends 4/1/17. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, partly sunny, breezy, colder, 32 for a high temp. Partly cloudy and cold, 16 overnight. Currently sunshine and 26. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. On AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So here's our latest regional analysis of property taxes in Illinois.
Where are we going to today?
West Central Cook County. This you can find at westcooknews.com, which is one of my papers.
Side hustle.
Fake news, according to the left. According to like a Proviso Township state rep, Chris Welch, who's a thug. We'll get to him in a second.
He called you fake news?
No, this
I'm going to take it up with him.
This is the left's attack on everything. Fake news. People just if it's an outlet you don't like, and you know Trump does this
Trump
too.
does it too.
So I don't excuse it. An outlet you don't like, a story you don't like, you just call that outlet fake news. Okay, well, see if this is fake news. Happy to have whoever wants to run the numbers themselves. Go ahead and run the numbers. Here's a real story.
And I'm happy if they want to call in, too. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
Let's start in Bellwood. Here's a real story. Red and white stone bungalow at 3106 Monroe Street. Lost to foreclosure in 2009. Hattie Reese lost her 3-bedroom red brick and white stone bungalow to foreclosure 2009. Over the previous 5 years, her property taxes had more than doubled, increasing from, this is real dollars, $28.84 to $65.06.
Ooh.
She bought the house in 1983 with her husband, Lavelle, a mailman with the U.S. Postal Service. He died after a short bout with cancer in 2003, December, and she couldn't keep up with the property tax payments. In Bellwood, according to the analysis that our publishing house did, home prices fell by almost half over the past decade. The story of Hattie Reese, who's now 76 years old, is a common one. 2007 median home price in Bellwood.
Yeah.
$217,000, round numbers. 8 years later, in 2015, $124,000, drop of 43%. And we talked a lot about schools, but it's not just schools. It's also local units of government. Schools are the driver, but there are other dubious actors in this story. According to the State Comptroller's Office, the village of Bellwood has amassed $193 million in debt. The School District 88 in Bellwood owes another $30 million, which is 140% more than its state-mandated debt limit. Those debt limits are about the same thing as balanced budgets in Illinois. They're guidelines, not actually enforced like they're, I don't know. In the case of constitutionally balanced budget, part of the state constitution, the part of these debt limits, part of state law. The average Bellwood homeowner owes $35,000 for the borrowing of those two units of government alone, which is nearly a third of their present median home value, or average home value, average household, and the average debt owed as a percentage of their average home value. By the way, 3 months after Hattie Reese's foreclosure, current state representative and then Proviso Township High School District 209 school board president Chris Welch bought her home for $50,000. 50 grand.
Wow.
Welch partnered on the deal with his brother Billy Welch, who earned 95 grand working in the maintenance department at the high school district where Bill Welch was the board president.
Wait, he was board president and maintenance worker?
His brother Billy earned 95 grand in the maintenance department. That's a pretty well-paid maintenance worker for a school district, especially one that is a complete catastrophe on the financial watch list at the state level and providing terrible education, such as Proviso 209.
It's more than a lot of the teachers make there, but okay.
In 26 of the 33 West Central Cook County suburbs, we analyzed the effective property tax rates are 2.5% of home value or higher. In 18 of them, they are higher than 3% of home value, more than 3 times the national average. Bellwood is one of 6 suburbs with rates higher than 4%, which includes Stone Park, 4.86%, Cicero, 4.57%, Broadview, 4.23%, Berwyn, 4.1%, and Maywood, 5.29% of home value. That's the tax rate as a percentage of home value. In Maywood, 114 of the 174 homes for sale, that's 2/3, are foreclosures and pre-foreclosures. One recent sale, you want to understand why. One recent sale, $67,500 for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home in Maywood.
$67,500? Okay.
1447 South 16th Avenue in Maywood. Its 2015 property tax bill, $5,700. $5,700 on a home that's $67,500. That's an 8.4% effective property tax rate as a percentage of value.
It's insane.
Yeah. And the story goes on and on and on. The change in median home price between 2007 and 2015. Cicero down 53%. Stone Park down 52%. Melrose Park down 52%. Schiller Park down 51%. Northlake 50%. Lyons, Franklin Park, Berkeley, Forest Park, River Grove, Hillside, Maywood, Broadview, Elmwood Park, Bellwood, Indian Head Park, Norridge, Berwyn, Harwood Heights, Willow Springs. All of the communities I just named have seen home values decline by 40% or more. You have to get to Westchester to get under 40%. And the least negatively impacted, 33, LaGrange, which is still down 21% in terms of median home price, 07 to 15. Western Springs, 21%. Oak Park, 22%. So the wealthier, Burr Ridge, 24%. The wealthier parts of West Central Cook County have been the least negatively impacted, but they've been impacted. And, of course, where does this go? Oh, it goes to hammering those who are the least able to afford it and thus are being foreclosed on in places like Bellwood and Maywood. So projecting out, as we've done in other regions, to 2023, property taxes paid as a percentage of value. Over the 15 years that we're looking, 07 to 2023, Stone Park, you will have paid 143% of your home value in property taxes during those 15 years. Maywood, 138%. Cicero, 136%. It's just over 15 years. And
why anybody lives here?
Why does anybody live here? Can you make it make sense to live here? Can you make it make sense to live in West Central Cook County, South Suburban Cook County? The numbers are even worse.
I feel bad for these people.
The North Shore. I mean, it's the story is the same. It's just the impact and who is best able to weather the impact.
But if you're on a fixed income and, how are you going to survive? You can't. I mean, literally, you just have to walk away. I mean, you could try to sell your house. Good luck. But who's going to buy it with those kind of property taxes?
What you're
getting, I'm looking at that house you mentioned on 1447 South 16th Avenue. Who's going to pay $5,700 a year for property taxes?
Well, somebody purchased it. Somebody that maybe didn't do the proper due diligence to understand just what they're going to be paying and how the equity, even at that level, is going to be stripped from the home they just purchased. That's really what this is. Illinois, Chicago Metro. It's a home equity desert.
Right. Well, at least the neighborhood's cute. It's clean. I mean.
By the way, Chris Welch, who represents this area, and
oh yeah, what did he say? He called you fake news?
Well, yeah, I don't care about that.
I do.
I'm not interested in his opinion on matters. He's a goof. And he's also a thug.
All right, what did he do?
He was arrested in January 12 of 2002 for grabbing his girlfriend at the time, quote from the police report, quoting from the police report, the Village of Hillside police report, grabbed her hair with both hands while in the kitchen and proceeded to slam her head backwards several times on the countertop. She ultimately, after speaking with Welch's stepmother, declined to pursue the complaint.
Course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she didn't. She did not walk back her story that she was beaten up by Chris Welch, who's a state rep from Proviso Township, after being a political hack school board president using Proviso 209 as his personal patronage playground. And, people continue to vote for him. So while your home equity is taken away from you and you've got a state rep who, according to this Hillside police report, and an ex-girlfriend beats up women, where's the left on this? Where are the leftists? Where are all your pea hat wearing Lakeview friends to protest Chris Welch, the thuggery against women? Because we didn't see it on a video, we didn't see it in an elevator.
Yeah, like Ray Lewis.
It's not important. Not Ray Lewis.
No, not Ray Lewis. What's his name?
Oh
my gosh.
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice, excuse me.
But where's the response here? Where's the response from the Democrat Party? Oh, not so much. Destroy your home value, be a thug, use your kid's school as a patronage dumping ground. No problem. Just keep cruising to re-election.
Oh, and Representative Chris Welch inducted into the John Marshall Law School Hall of Distinction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's an attorney. He's also a Northwestern grad alum, so there you go. The value of my degree just went down again. That's the story in Illinois. Getting the government we deserve, and in West Central Cook County, you're getting it good and hard. Financially, if you're a constituent. Physically, if you're dating Chris Welch.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, we have 27 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 32 degrees, but some brilliant sunshine out there. It will be breezy. The weekend is pretty busy tomorrow, Saturday, for your St. Patrick's Day Parade downtown at Balboa and Columbus. Kicks off at noon. You're going to have partly cloudy skies, and it's going to be 32 degrees. And then for the Southside Irish Parade, a little bit warmer, partly sunny skies, a high of 38 degrees. And don't forget, we spring ahead this weekend. Daylight savings time is here yet again. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is entirely open again through Grant Park. There was a major overnight wreck, really nasty one at Balboa, which had the southbound side of the drive shut down, but everything is open and traffic is moving just fine on Lakeshore Drive. Eden's 23 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Delay start at 2. Outbound 20 minutes. Kennedy, 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26, the Eisenhower. 59 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 46 from Manheim. And outbound 58 to Thorndale. A crash at Wolf Road finally cleared. Stevenson, an hour. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy. LaGrange Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways are good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. IBM sued by the state of Pennsylvania. The federal budget numbers set for release, and Radio Shack declares bankruptcy again. Those stories next.
Hi, folks. Are you an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS? Are your wages being garnished? Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns and you're losing sleep at night worrying about it all? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who have helped thousands of people with problems just like yours. They're accredited with a Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, why Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees and stopping levies and garnishments. They're not intimidated by the IRS, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group. They're at 800-601-2929. 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929.
The state of Pennsylvania is suing IBM, claiming the business machines giant failed to deliver on a 2006 $170 million contract to replace the state's system of processing unemployment claims. The lawsuit says by the time the contract expired, IBM was 4 years behind schedule and $60 million over budget. For the second time in 2 years, Radio Shack has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The 100-year-old electronics retailer is already in the process of closing 200 of its stores and considering options for 1,300 others. Economic reports ahead today. The Labor Department this morning releases official employment data for February. This afternoon, the Treasury Department will unveil the February federal budget numbers. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Listen up. Time, time is running out. In fact, today is the last day you could book your trip to join me, Dan Proft, and Joe Walsh in beautiful Punta Cana. Again, today is the last day, and we'll be staying at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Brand new resort, just a few months old. Take a look for yourself. It has all the bells and whistles. It's really a gorgeous property. A number of infinity pools, 7 bars, including one in the middle of a pool. There's 5 gourmet restaurants. There's golf on the property. Championship golf designed by Jack Nicklaus. So there's literally something for everyone to do, but you can't wait any longer. Today is the last day. Get more information and book your trip today by visiting 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport. Again, today is the last day to secure this exclusive price from our good friends over there at Apple Vacations.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kurt Penn, founder and CEO of Good Foods. In 2007, I was shopping in a natural foods grocery store and had a vision for a company that would produce fresh, all-natural foods with a social conscience. Signature Bank helped turn that vision into what now is Good Foods. Signature Bank President Mick O'Rourke listened to our story and learned about our business. Mick has been with us every step of the way. Signature Bank takes care of the details so we can focus on producing good foods. Signature Bank is deeply invested in our success. Good Foods is very proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you save $500,000 in an IRA or 401k, you know it's not really $500,000, right? Because you still have to pay taxes on that money. But here's something that will shock you. Some people will pay through the nose in taxes when they withdraw money from their retirement accounts, while a smart and savvy few will legally pay far less. Could you potentially save thousands of dollars in taxes on your IRA or 401k and keep this money for yourself? Yes, you could. Learn how in a free report called 6 Ways to Tax-Free Income in Retirement from me, Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour. The free report could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Call 630-873-6326. It's your choice. Pay the IRS or keep this money for yourself. Call 630-873-6326 or visit us on alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around, signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bret Baier spoke with Vice President Pence. We'll speak with Bret Baier at 7:07.
And the FBI director meets with the Gang of Eight. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Wrongfully convicted gang leader back behind bars, and the Bears release Jay Cutler. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Did pizza and bowling change any minds about the health care bill being hotly debated in Congress? Some key lawmakers invited to the White House last night. Others will meet with the president this morning. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Lisa, the White House is in full sell mode, trying to convince Republican holdouts that the GOP repeal and replace plan is the way to go. Vice President Mike Pence says the president promised to roll back Obamacare and
to replace it with the kind of reforms that would allow Americans to buy health insurance across state lines.
Senator Rand Paul says the bill is too much like the original Affordable Care Act.
Keeps the individual mandate, but you don't pay the government the penalty, you got to pay the insurance company.
House Speaker Paul Ryan is lobbying for the legislation and says Obamacare is in a death spiral. Lisa?
Thanks, Rachel. The February jobs report due out later this hour, the first full month report under President Trump. Economists expecting around 190,000 jobs added ahead of the Fed's latest interest rate decision next week. Police in Germany think an axe attack at a train station was not terror-related. Fox Radio's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Elisa police marking it down as a random attack, saying the suspect in custody, a 36-year-old man from Kosovo, is mentally ill. At least 7 people were injured in the attack at the main train station in Dusseldorf, some of them said to be seriously hurt. The suspect then escaping before jumping off a nearby bridge. He is under arrest in hospital, officials saying he is seriously injured. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. We drank more water than soda in 2016. The first time bottled water sales topped sales of soft drinks by volume in the U.S. Research from the Beverage Marketing Corporation says growing health concern about sugary drinks is a factor. But some critics note previous studies finding little difference between bottled water and some tap water. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
26 degrees, sunny skies. It is a chilly start to the morning. Headed to the bus stop, a wind chill of 13 above. Winds are gusting at 14 miles an hour. 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. And here are the stories we're following this morning. 1 man is dead, 2 hurt, following a serious 2-vehicle crash early this morning in Grant Park along Lakeshore Drive. Police saying a minivan heading south on Lakeshore Drive collided head-on with a car making a left turn onto Belbo. No one in custody following an early morning shootout that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others on Chicago's south side. It happened on East 51st at a gas station. Chicago gang leader who received a $25 million payout for a wrongful murder conviction is now heading back to prison. Thaddeus Jimenez was sentenced yesterday to more than 9 years behind bars after shooting a man in the legs in 2015 on the Northwest Side. Teachers at the city's Aspira network of charter schools has reached a tentative labor contract agreement with school managers late Thursday evening, averting what union leaders had billed as the nation's first strike at a privately run charter network. Bail set at $1 million for a Chicago woman charged with murdering her boyfriend by forcing him to drink bleach. Prosecutors say Yasmin Elder got into a fight early Monday morning with her boyfriend inside a van near 65th and Bishop. Democrats in the Illinois Senate say they're still waiting for a list of budget cuts from Governor Rauner. Democrats say it will be easier to come to terms on a state budget if they know where the governor wants to cut. Republicans at the State House know it's a Democratic ploy to bash the governor for proposing cuts they don't agree with. Bears moving on without quarterback Jay Cutler, and the Bears are serious about adding free agent quarterback Mike Glennon, a 3-year deal worth $45 million. And the Bears also set to bring in safety Quinton Demps. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks last night at the UC. Big Ten basketball tournament for the men. One and done for the Fighting Illini, blown out by Michigan, and Northwestern, cream of the crop. They rip Rutgers 83-61. The news service of Staples, filing your own taxes this year. Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less. Storage boxes, filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax, and right now, get $15 off when you buy TurboTax, in-store only. Ends 4/1/17. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My water heater broke down.
Sorry, but your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover water heater breakdowns.
So, what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my water heater?
I'm afraid not.
But his water heater could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus components of 20 other major home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-339-4151. Home insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Life happens. Have a plan. Get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-339-4151. That's 1-800-339-4151. 1-800-339-4151.
Over 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring, and independent research shows that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. By creating the easiest, most effective hiring experience, we help businesses find great new people every day. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're going to be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. simplysafe.com/radio.
7:06, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And a check of the roads. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On southbound Lakeshore Drive, traffic is slow from 18th to the Stevenson. Everything is open again in Grant Park after a major overnight crash at Balboa. We're not seeing delays in that area. Eden's inbound, stop and go, Pratt to the junction. 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 17 from Montrose, 13 of the Express. Outbound 30 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's 58 minutes, Thorndale to the post office downtown. 45 from Manheim. Outbound 45 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 48 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 37 minutes to 3:55. Ryan is 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow Archer to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, a little sluggish, Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, breezy, and colder, high 32. Partly cloudy and cold tonight, low 16. Cold tomorrow with clouds giving way to some sun, high 32. Then a partly cloudy and cold night, low 17. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
26 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This is the closest we will ever get to repealing and replacing Obamacare.
I want to make sure that people in Illinois are not left in the lurch, or that, there's a lot of pressure to reduce insurance coverage for people in Illinois. I'm very concerned about that.
We've got lots of time to get this right, and I'd rather get it right than get it fast.
The Central Intelligence Agency lost control of its entire cyber weapons arsenal. This is a historic act of devastating incompetence.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So House Speaker Paul Ryan provided a 25-minute PowerPoint presentation to put the words and pictures on a screen to help the D.C. press corps process what has been proposed with respect to Obamacare repeal. And then Ryan ended with a kind of a call for unity, not explicitly, but implicitly, call for unity among Republican ranks. Look, basically what I hear him saying,
yes,
this is the best we can do. Is this a free market solution from soup to nuts with respect to health insurance in this country? No. As Holman Jenkins writes in the Wall Street Journal today, even under a GOP plan, healthcare will remain a heavily subsidized industry in relation to everything else Americans might rationally prefer to spend their money on. That's true. So there are some free market elements to it. There is pushing off elements that are objectionable while repealing all of the Obamacare taxes except for the Cadillac excise tax on high-priced employer plans, but they push implementation off to 2025. I think they're kind of trying to game the scoring of the plan a little bit with that. But the point is that they're moving in that direction, and Ryan's essential point is, look, this is what we can do with 52 in the Senate.
We as Republicans have been waiting 7 years to do this. We as Republicans who fought the creation of this law and accurately predicted that it would not work, ran for office in 2010, in 2012, in 2014, and in 2016 on a promise that we would, if given the ability, we would repeal and replace this law. How many people running for Congress and the Senate did you hear say that? How many times did you hear President Donald Trump, when he was candidate Donald Trump, say that? This is the closest we will ever get to repealing and replacing Obamacare.
I don't know about ever, but I understand the need for the superlative in the context because they're trying to push this through by the spring. And how do I know that? I know that because I watched Special Report with Bret Baier
yes, that's right.
when he interviewed Vice President Mike Pence yesterday, and that's what Mike Pence said. And now we're pleased to be joined by our friend Bret Baier, the host of Fox News Special Report, 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, Chicago time. He's also the author of the new book about Dwight D. Eisenhower, 3 Days in January. Bret, thanks for joining us.
Morning.
Morning. So your interview with Pence was illuminating on a number of topics, including with respect to Obamacare. I mean, Mike Pence, who has conservative bona fides as a member of the House, so can address some of the criticisms lodged by the House Freedom Caucus, like its chairman, Mark Meadows, and him being very kind of optimistic and about the timeline to move this repeal legislation as well as the substance of the repeal legislation.
He's surprisingly optimistic, I think, considering all the public pushback that you hear. I do think that they think, the leadership and the administration think that eventually, when push comes to shove, this is going to be a binary choice, that either you're going to sign on to what they've managed to cobble together for repeal and replace, or you're going to watch Obamacare disintegrate and insurance companies leave the system this year and then have to explain that to constituents. Now, it doesn't sound like an appetizing choice. However, they're promising other improvements in the effort in phase 2 and phase 3 of this operation. So, I asked Vice President Pence for the critics out there who say this is like Wimpy and Popeye. I'm glad you play you next Tuesday for a hamburger today. How do you address that? And he said you just basically plow through, and I think that's what they're trying to do.
And he's making an effort again, meeting with conservative leaders today. Did he seem optimistic that this will happen? I mean, he said but it should be all done by spring, but spring is a few weeks away.
Yeah, they're going to move this quickly. I mean, it's going to probably evolve a little bit and change a little bit, but it can't change that much in this form because of the vehicle that they have it on, which is what's called a reconciliation bill, and that means that it only needs 51 votes to pass in the Senate. But in order for it to be in that form, you can't have other things like crossing state lines and tort reform and block granting Medicaid in that bill.
Right, and so that's the three-phase process that Paul Ryan outlined yesterday and has been discussed at some length. It seems to me Trump and Pence are playing this right. They're doing a little bit of a ham and egg routine. I mean, just speaking politically, where the people who've been critical of what's been proposed, calling it Obamacare light, as Rand Paul did, members of the House Freedom Caucus saying, let's just re-up what we passed and sent to President Obama's desk in 2015. He hasn't gone after them personally. He's not dismissing them. He's not tweeting about them. He's letting Mike Pence talk to them. He's being optimistic about what was proposed and suggesting that this is keeping a promise that he made as candidate Trump. But it seems to me he's learning that he needs to kind of massage these relationships. And if it's a substantive criticism on policy, let's not make it personal. Let's figure out how we get everybody reading from the same playbook.
Yeah, and I think as opposed to the previous president, he realizes the power of negotiation and persuasion. And he invited a whole bunch of congressmen from the Freedom Caucus over to the White House last night to bowl, a little 10-pin diplomacy.
Yeah, right.
Who won? Who was the high scorer?
10-pin diplomacy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or low scorer, right?
Oh, low scorer.
I guess, I think he is probably going to work it like he does a deal. And remember that 65% of Congress and the Senate has not been in office any other time than being in the opposition. So they've never been to the White House. They've never been wined and dined in the state dining room. They've never played, bowling in the White House bowling alley. So this is, for some of these congressmen, it's like wide-eyed, and they bring their wives, and they get, wined and dined by Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and believe it or not, that can make a difference.
It works. Yesterday, another big story coming out of D.C. was the FBI director, James Comey. He spent Thursday afternoon on the Capitol meeting with the Gang of Eight. Are your sources disclosing anything? What was the context of that meeting and what happened?
No, they're not talking about it as of yet, but I assume we'll find some element of that meeting somewhere. I've heard all kinds of things all over the map, that it was British intelligence that was doing the tapping at the bequest of the administration, and there's no fingerprints, and all kinds of stuff from intel officials or one-off intel officials. So I think we're going to have to wait for some time to get the whole blueprint of what exactly happened. I do know that these Russian connections are not going away. Paul Manafort's ties and some of these guys on the campaign, Not to say that there's collusion, but there are connections.
Now, there are also reports out that it was the FBI that briefly monitored a computer server in Trump Tower, found nothing illegal, didn't monitor emails or phone calls, were examining possible computer communications with a Russian bank that turned out to be a big nothing burger. So there's that report out there circling, too, among supposed FISA applications and the rest of the kind of the cloak and dagger that everybody's been discussing.
Right. And that was the original. And, no one has shot that down, but no one has outright confirmed it. Trying to get confirmation about FISA requests is one of the most secret things in Washington. You don't even know where the FISA court is. It's like it's sort of like this Star Chamber kind of approval process.
A couple other topics that were also telegraphed yesterday. Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, saying that Gorsuch confirmation hearing is going to happen this spring, and that structural tax reforms that have been much talked about will not happen until the fall. And then there was some kind of peddling back and forth about whether that's going to get done before the August recess or not. But just in terms of some of the other major items on the docket in the immediacy, Gorsuch and tax reform and where those stand on the Hill.
Yeah. Gorsuch, it looks like, is, by all accounts, a stellar lobbyist on his own behalf. He has wowed even Democrats up there on the Senate side. And it's believed that he's not going to have any problem, believe it or not. After all the sound and fury, I don't think he's going to have any problem. The next Supreme Court justice, and I'm hearing it could be as soon as April, that Anthony Kennedy announces his retirement.
Ooh, breaking news.
That will be Armageddon.
Wow.
As far as tax reform, it's not going to happen until Obamacare is off the plate. So it's going to take a little while. Infrastructure clearly is not going to go this year. It's going to have to go into 2018.
Okay. All right.
Hey, thanks for the heads up.
Anthony Kennedy as soon as April. Very interesting. Good stuff. As always, Bret Baier, anchor of a special report, Fox News Channel, 5 p.m., Monday to Friday, and author of the new book, 3 Days in January, about President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Bret, thanks so much for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Oh, Harambe's cousin attacks. We'll explain, but first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, but a lot cooler than we're used to, a high only of 32 degrees. It is 28 right now at O'Hare. Tonight, a low of 16. And for your busy St. Patrick's Day weekend, the parade on Saturday, which kicks off at noon, you're going to have mostly cloudy skies, a high of 32. And then the Southside Irish Parade, it'll be a little bit warmer, partly sunny skies, a high of 38. And do not forget, this weekend, daylight savings time, so spring ahead on early Sunday morning. Let's spring into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. And Dan, I-80 westbound at Center Street. Rollover crash just reported. The 8 ends inbound is 25 minutes from Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 49 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 29. The Ike, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 55 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 46 to Thorndale. Stevenson is 57 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 37. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive. Delays are from Irving Park to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Everything is open again at Balboa after an overnight wreck. Northbound Tri-State Stop and Go, 87th to the 83rd Street toll. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Baton Rouge Memorial, slow 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are fine. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. My Parts Garage is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory, so your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Plus, the customer service is seriously awesome. So the last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find auto parts. With the average driver in Chicago commuting at least 24 miles per day, people are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you, the mechanic. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed.
Spring is in the air. The days are getting longer and the sun is shining brighter. Wouldn't it be nice to have new, customized window treatments to give your home a fresh look? The Blind Buddy can help you accomplish that without breaking the bank. Forget overpriced big box stores or pushy fly-by-night franchises. The Blind Buddy is an independently owned business serving Chicagoland for over 20 years by one of Chicago's first responders. They offer quality window treatments at affordable prices. Shutters, wood blinds, solar shades. Choose from a wide variety to fit your home or business, plus your style and budget. John, the Blind Buddy, will come to you and personally handle measurement to installation. The whole process can usually be done in 2 to 3 weeks. Read the Blind Buddy reviews on Yelp. Then give John a call to set up a free in-home consultation. The Blind Buddy's got Chicago covered. Visit theblindbuddy.com or call 773-893-0-BUD. That's 773-893-0-BUD.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Dennis Prager here. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants, get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Well, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants, and that's why you need to see Dr. Naruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Naruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants bring. Everyone is different. Don't settle for mass-produced implants. Did you know that there is a difference in quality of the actual implant itself? Some are made to last, and some aren't. Is your doctor being honest with you?
This is Dr. Naruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics 630-632-7400 or just remember implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, do you ever go to the zoo? I wonder, did you go to the zoo as a kid? Maybe on field trips?
Yeah, I've been to a zoo before.
Have you ever seen what the chimpanzees do at the zoo? They throw certain things at you.
Yeah.
Certain bowel movements, they just throw them right at the people. It's not fun. But a woman at the zoo in New Orleans had something else thrown at her. This is Praline, a large female gorilla, one of 3 in the enclosure there at the New Orleans Audubon Zoo. And he threw a block of wood, and it hit her right stab in the head. But the problem is she's pregnant. Here is 34-year-old.
Well, it would have been a problem even if she wasn't pregnant.
Right, but she fell down and go boom on the belly. Sylvia Cressy.
When it hit me, I kind of blinked out. Like, it really took the wind out of me. And I fell on my belly and stuff like that. So as I regained consciousness, I was just thinking about my baby.
So the thing, her baby's fine. She had to go to 2 different hospitals. She spent 6 hours in total being checked out, and the baby's fine.
They put that gorilla down yet?
Well, that's the thing. There's a debate whether or not this gorilla should be put down because the gorilla is related to Harambe. It's Harambe's cousin. Remember, like the grandma had an incident. She was put down recently, and that was a big news story. So,
Harambe comes from a violent family, apparently.
Well, a lot of people wonder, why was there a block of wood?
They're not going to do junk out for with Praline, are they? Are they going to do like a junk out for Praline protest?
They might. The block of wood was an enrichment tool. It was filled with honey and raisins. So, it's a way for them to, express natural species appropriate behaviors. Okay. Whether it be foraging, exploring.
Get your block of wood away from me, you damn dirty gorilla.
Playing, or other activities. So they took the block of wood and threw it at the crowd. I guess there was chaos. People were running, and they were wondering what's next.
You know what you needed
there? What's Praline
there?
going to do next? Come on, Praline, square up.
Well, you know what you just needed somebody there with a right to carry permit.
Oh, No.
You got a block of wood. I got a 9mm.
I still don't think they should have shot Harambe or not. I mean, killed him. They did shoot him eventually. He did.
Yes.
Yes. he
Right.
was
No,
shot.
I'm familiar with the story. So they should have shot him, but not killed him.
No. I meant they should have just shot him with a tranquilizer gun rather than
Sure. Right.
kill him.
Yeah.
Have a fatal blow.
Yeah. Right. Tranquilizer gun. He's got a 3-year-old in his mouth, and you want to shoot him with a tranquilizer gun.
Bringing him to safety. He
Oh,
was
no, of
patting him on
course.
the butt like, there
Of
you go,
course.
little baby.
Yeah,
You
of course.
little baby.
And I mean, if you can't trust a gorilla for childcare, I mean, who can you trust, right?
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Hey, do you find yourself saying, if only I had more leads, or if only I had more prospects to sell to? Well, if that sounds familiar, then let me tell you about the Sales Prospecting Group. The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. They're local Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business by getting them in the door. The Sales Prospecting Group will get you appointments with qualified prospects to help you grow your business. They don't use contract labor or offshore callers. They're in-house staff of business account executives, highly trained, professional, and effective. Here's what you do. You call the Sales Prospecting Group right now at this number, 630-701-9052. That's 630-701-9052. They specialize exclusively on B2B sales as well. 630-701-9052. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Chief Economist from the Heritage Foundation, Steve Moore, about the Obamacare replacement, as well as tax reform when it may come to pass at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom, here's Mike Scott.
Clear skies, and right now 25 degrees. Predictions are right for a relatively robust employment report for February. All eyes will then shift to next week's meeting of the Federal Reserve, where interest rates will likely be raised. The GOP health care plan will be on the agenda when President Trump speaks with House committee chairs today. White House spokesman Sean Spicer predicts the House GOP health insurance reform bill will pass and will be signed into law.
This bill will land on the president's desk. He will sign it. We will repeal Obamacare, and we will put into place a system that will be patient-centered, that will allow the American people to have greater choice and lower costs.
Asked about conservative critics of the bill, Spicer says the White House is welcoming all of their constructive ideas. Several more states joining a lawsuit opposing the Trump administration's revised travel restrictions. Washington State and Minnesota were already on board. Now New York, Massachusetts, and Oregon are getting involved. The Hawaii suit is separate from the other states. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will not be taking part in any decisions involving the Keystone XL pipeline. The Secretary of State is the former CEO of ExxonMobil. Volkswagen expected to plead guilty today to 3 criminal counts at a morning hearing in a Detroit federal court. Last month, VW agreed to plead guilty and pay $4.3 billion in penalties for programming about 600,000 diesel vehicles to deceive U.S. regulators. 1 man is dead, 2 hurt following a 2-vehicle crash early this morning on Lakeshore Drive in Grant Park. No one in custody following a shooting that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others on Chicago's South Side. Bail set at $1 million for a Chicago woman charged with murdering her boyfriend by forcing him to drink bleach this week. Chicago going to be very green this weekend. Thousands descending on the city to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Festivities kick off tomorrow morning when that Chicago River is dyed a different color. St. Patrick's Day parade scheduled to start at noon at Balboa and Columbus. And the South Side parade begins about the same time at 103rd and Western. Bears move on without quarterback Jay Cutler, but add free agent quarterback Mike Glennon, apparently. Bears also bringing in free agent safety Quinton Demps. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks. One and done for the Fighting Illini in the Big Ten tournament, blown out by Michigan, while Northwestern beat Rutgers 83-61. The news, a service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year? Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less. Storage boxes, filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. And right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax, in-store only. Ends 4/1/17. Staples, make more happen. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes Israel is in a unique position in more ways than one.
The anti-Israel hatred at the UN is unique. More resolutions passed against Israel than against all other entities combined in the Middle East. Israel is supposed to make peace with people who want it destroyed. It's not something. What exactly do we talk about?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
You're never too old to learn something new, especially when it concerns your golden years. Join North Shore Capital Group at their retirement educational classes held at local colleges in your community. Each class is an interactive workshop that's held over 2 sessions and includes a workbook for you to keep and follow. Instructor Victor Rigoni will provide you with the tools and guidance to help you reach your personal finance retirement goals. At the end of the full class, you'll receive an opportunity to book an independent complimentary consultation so that you can implement a proper retirement strategy. It's never too late to educate yourself about retirement. Call Colleen to book your class, 847-735-9200. That's 847-735-9200. North Shore Capital Group Incorporated, an independent firm with securities offered through Summit Brokerage Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, and advisory services offered through Summit Financial Group, Inc., a registered investment advisor. 847-735-9200, 250 East Illinois Road, Suite 201, Lake Forest, Illinois, 60045.
735, the early number back from Washington on the number of jobs added to the economy. About 235,000, according to the Labor Department, lowering the jobless rate, 4.7%. We'll see about that impact on the market. In the meantime, let's go to the roads and our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The northbound tri-state is really heavy now, with delays from Harlem to 47th Street and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Veterans Memorial slow from 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Eisenhower, an hour and 11 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound at 40 minutes. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Delays are southbound, Irving Park to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Traffic is a service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. Westin knows how disruptive travel can be to your well-being. But with rejuvenating heavenly beds, a nutritious Superfoods RX menu, and gear lending for when you leave your workout gear at home, Westin will help you stay in control and rise above it all. Westin, let's rise. Learn more at westin.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Partly sunny, breezy and colder today. High 32, partly cloudy and cold, 16 overnight. Currently sunny and 26. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the February jobs numbers out 235,000 jobs creating in February. That's a little bit significantly fewer actually than ADP predicted earlier in the week, which was close to 300,000 jobs. We'll talk to both Steve Moore from the Heritage Foundation and our friend Scott the Cow Guy, Scott Shalady from Fox Business.
Yeah, where's your Scott
about those
Shalady
numbers.
cow guy jacket? I thought we were going to both wear our cow jackets today.
I sleep in my cow jacket.
Oh, okay.
And that's all I sleep in.
Ew. Ew, I don't think I can wear my jacket again.
Here's something on the local level. On the local level, unpaid sick leave. Talking about state of Illinois.
Mhm.
Unpaid sick leave costs taxpayers $3.4 billion over the next 3 decades. Top school superintendents have used their sick leave perk to boost their pensions by $350,000 or more over the course of their retirements. And the Illinois Senate's grand bargain threatens Illinoisans with billions in tax hikes because it does virtually nothing to reform how government spends tax money, like this instance. So, for example, university employees, state workers, municipal workers, K through 12 teachers enjoy this ability to accumulate sick leave, which then you can transfer to a lump sum payment upon retirement. Of course, this doesn't exist in the private sector.
No, it doesn't. I have how many sick days do you have?
I have no
Because you
idea.
could check. I have like 120 hours
I
worth
have
of
no
sick
idea.
time that if you don't use it, you lose it. But
Right.
but you don't fake that you're sick. I mean, have you ever called in sick when you're not sick?
No, but the issue here is the accumulation,
Right.
which you can't do
In
with our employer. That's different than, say, Henry Bangser, who's a former superintendent of our old friend New Trier Township High School District
Oh.
203, run by Champaign Socialists, who certainly enjoy the benefits of big government, don't they? This former superintendent of New Trier Township High School,
I can't wait to hear this.
$7.5 million in benefits over the course of his retirement is the present value of his pension.
$7.5 million.
$440,000 of that benefit package is due to unaccumulated unpaid sick leave. In more than in all, this is reporting done by
spots.
And reporting done by Ted Dabrowski over at the Illinois Policy Institute. He looked at it, and his team did. In all, more than 70% of the 100,000 plus current downstate and suburban retired teachers have cashed in unused sick leave. Now, again, am I blaming the superintendent? Am I blaming the teachers? No. I'm blaming people who constructed the system to scam people to underwrite benefits that they don't see anything of the sort in their private sector lives. This is the unevenness and unfairness of public sector compensation versus private sector compensation. And I'm sorry, who's financing whom? Illinois teachers, the unused sick days, I should say, can have a big impact on pay just for the rank and file, not even for these, I would say, largely overpaid school superintendents. A retiree with 30 years service can expect his or her pension to be boosted by more than $150,000 over the course of their retirement if that retired cashes in the full 2 years of sick leave. So there's a max out, but the 2 years, I mean, this is what it translates to, and obviously the higher you're paid, the bigger the number is. In total, this, as I mentioned at the outset, the sick leave perk costs Illinois taxpayers, or will cost them, projecting out $3.4 billion over the next 30 years, more than $100 million a year. And it's not a single group. It's everybody in the system. 50% of retired university workers have some sick leave credit. Nearly 70% of retired state workers do as well. Now, remember, with respect to, say, Chicago public school teachers, they have the highest career earnings, adjusted for cost of living, in the nation. Our state workers are the highest paid state workers, adjusted for cost of living, in the nation. And the defined benefit pension plans and the pension and the free health insurance after 20 years of service and other perks like this.
Well, how can we change it?
Well, you can change it by eliminating that perk. I mean,
Right, but how do you
change
eliminate
anything?
that perk? I mean, the sick leave perk. I mean, if that superintendent makes $400,000 in retirement from a sick leave, unpaid sick leave days, that's more than most Americans make in their lifetime.
And so
just by staying healthy and going to work.
So here's the story, too. You'll not be surprised. Earlier this week, Chicago ranked worst among 15 major cities grappling with unfunded pension liabilities. The burden in Chicago, just on the unfunded local pension liabilities, $12,427 per person, which is double New York City's, to give you some context. You have police and fire pension funds that are less than 30% funded. But remember, it's the Democrats that take care of the working man. It's the Democrats that laud our first responders and take care of the lower to middle income families. Do they? I guess we're going to find out. Here's a little canary in the coal mine. California Public Employees Retirement System, CalPERS, biggest in the country, is set to vote next week on cutting benefits for a small group of retirees in what would be the second such move in the last 4 months. The reduced benefits, triggered by the failure of a defunct public agency to pay CalPERS the entire cost of covering the pensions of its former employees. Well, you don't think this is playing itself out at the local government level all over the state? They would see their benefits with these workers that would be affected reduced by 63%, the rate at which this government agency fell short of meeting its obligations. And so this is what you have essentially going on with the Chicago Public School teachers' pension, where they want to be bailed out by the state. And chances $1 million ain't going to cut it with the numbers that we're talking about. The other thing that's happening, too, for all of this kind of workers of the world unite solidarity in the public sector unions, what's happening is that teachers' pension funds and other pension funds are becoming like a big Ponzi scheme. New York Times had a good piece on this week, looking at Puerto Rico and comparing that, interestingly, to teacher pension funds in places like, I don't know, Illinois, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. As teachers' pension costs keep rising, young teachers are being squeezed, sometimes hard. One study done by the Urban Institute found that more than 3/4 of all American teachers hired at the age of 25 will end up paying more into pension plans than they ever get back. So at some point, the math is inexorable. Well, not at some point. The math is inexorable. But at some point, you're going to see these things capsize. And then what do? You can wave around this provision of the Constitution and the absurd interpretation that the Illinois Supreme Court has infected it with and infected us with. But at some point, when you can't pay out current beneficiaries, you have a couple of choices. Everybody takes a haircut. You dramatically increase contribution levels. You dramatically increase taxes. You dramatically cut services. You do all of the above. So I just provide this cautionary tale, all these cautionary tales yet again, to say when it happens, and it's going to happen, because I understand that people in this state are just inured to math, and they won't believe it until it happens. And unfortunately, I think most people are of the mind that it's not real until I'm personally hurt. Okay?
But it's going to happen.
But
even our firefighter friends say, we're worried that the money's not going to be there, that the checks are not going to come, and if the checks do come, they're going to bounce.
Right.
The money's not there.
That's going to happen.
Right.
So when it happens, just remember this conversation. And remember who was on your side, actually, despite what you're told, trying to salvage your pensions and benefits that have been earned by saying we need to rethink the system prospectively for work not performed, for benefits not yet earned, so that it is more in line with what we can afford financially and more commensurate with private sector counterparts, but a good deal nonetheless on other elements like benefits and job security. Who was making that case, and who was calling people making that case heartless, against the working man, racist, blah, 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 blah. Just remember this, because I told you so won't mean anything. It won't mean anything for me, and it won't mean anything for you. But you don't think math is real, so many people, and the politicians you keep electing in the state, they don't think math is real. They don't really care as long as they get theirs and get out. And that's the attitude of a lot of people, too, unfortunately. That's what happens when you impose a kleptocracy, as Illinois has become. But, I mean, just remember these conversations and pass them along. Pass the news stories along. Pass the cautionary tales the world over along. Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Just didn't want you to forget that our poor, underpaid, overworked AFSCME workers, even though they get 10 days of unexcused absence paid per year in addition to their sick time and vacation time, they're not allowed to carry that unexcused absence forward. So I really think they should demand that as part of their contract.
Sure, why not?
Poor kiddies.
Yeah, we throw it in. Kick
Have
it
a
in.
great day.
Thanks, Larry.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, he's on line 9. Stephen Moore will be here. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, but cool. A high of 32 degrees, 28 right now at O'Hare. And your weekend, your St. Patrick's Day parade Saturday at noon. It's going to be partly sunny skies, a high of 32. And then on Sunday for the Southside Irish Parade, it is going to be mostly cloudy skies, a few peaks of sunshine, a high of 38. And don't forget, this weekend, we spring our clocks ahead. Now let's jump into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, in West Chicago, eastbound North Avenue is closed. Prince Crossing to Fair Oaks, there's a crash. The Edens is just 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Got a stalled semi past Foster in the left lane. The Kennedy, now 56 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 32. The Eisenhower, an hour and 19 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. An hour and 3 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 46 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, 40 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe. It is open in Grant Park after an overnight wreck. The northbound delays are from 31st to the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State all gummed up from Harlem to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Veterans Memorials, though 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Lake Street to 290. Northwest Indiana's fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Consult your tax professional before investing. Let me ask you a question. Can you keep your 401k or IRA safe from the death of the dollar, continued rampant Fed spending, political corruption, and from the possible new Cold War with Russia? If you answered no, then listen up. Fortunes are going to be made and lost over the next few months. It's time you took action. Over 50,000 people have requested our Gold IRA investment guide to learn how to protect their retirement savings. Now it's your turn. We are Advantage Gold, the #1 rated gold IRA company in America by TrustLink. Right now, we are giving away a free copy of our new Gold IRA Protection Guide to anyone with an IRA, 401k, or retirement account that is over the age of 55. Just call 1-800-900-8000 right now, and we will help teach you how to keep your retirement savings away from the government and safe in your pocket. Just call today at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Representatives are standing by. Call 800-900-8000 today.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. You know, the best home improvement decision I ever made was to call CertaPro Painters. No joke. Last spring, their trained, talented painters magically reformed my porch. Property values actually went up. But now that winter is set in, let's get your interior painting done, and CertaPro Painters are the only ones to call. You know, CertaPro Painters is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. When they come into your home, they are so quiet they won't wake a baby. And guess what? The best part is they clean up after themselves. So with this new year, you should refresh and renew your living space. Book your interior painting project today. For a free estimate, call our good friends over there at CertaPro at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com. And we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. I'm glad I called them. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. The left doesn't need to learn new tricks if the old ones work just fine. The whipped-up frenzy around Attorney General Jeff Sessions is little more than fodder for a couple of episodes of some hackneyed Aaron Sorkin TV drama. It's not an occasion for Republicans to wet themselves, as some have. It's not an occasion for Republicans to adopt the high dudgeon of Senator Stuart Smalley, as some are. And it's not an occasion for Republicans to provide fuel for the gaslighting by the left on Russian influence on the Trump administration or impact on the 2016 election. William F. Buckley commented that relative to the left, conservatives do a poor job of picking up their wounded on the battlefield. True. What we essentially have here is Jeff Sessions cutting himself shaving while putting on his uniform. He then stopped his bleeding with his recusal on 2016 campaign-related investigations. Compare that to the wounds inflicted by bad actors at the IRS, for example, who illegally targeted Americans based on their religious and political beliefs and have yet to be held accountable. Jeff Sessions is our general for justice. We should encourage him to lead, and we should follow him into battle.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, that sound means it's time for our friends Stephen Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Hi, guys. Sorry to be a little late this morning. The jobs report just came out, so I had to peruse that so I could be right on top of things for you guys. You got 250,000 jobs. I think that's a pretty good number. Wages bumped up a little bit. We got an increase in manufacturing and construction jobs, those jobs that Obama said would never come back. So I think that Trump bounce is turning into a little bit of a Trump moon bounce.
What's your take on the Obamacare replacement legislation?
I knew you were going to ask me about that.
Heritage Action has, panned it out of the gate, as have other conservative organizations. Where are you on it?
Look, I think that this has to get done. This was one of the central promises that Republicans and Donald Trump made to the American people. They've been making it for 7 years. So it's going to get done because it has to get done. Now, do I love everything in the Paul Ryan bill? No. There's many things I think need to get fixed. But I'm here to tell you this morning, I think they are going to get fixed. I think that the media's overblown a little bit of the kind of conservative revolt. There's a little bit of bluster right now. They're going to look. They went bowling yesterday.
Bowling makes everything better, especially if you use the bumper balls. Well, why is it that
exactly.
bumper
I'm
ball
with
bowling?
you, Amy. I only bowl if they have the bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
but look, I think this is going to get done. And I think the one thing that they've got to do, though, that I was really disturbed about is you've got to get rid of something called the Essential Benefit Package in Obamacare, which basically says that, if the three of us buy insurance, we basically all have to buy the same insurance package. No. If everybody, you and I and Amy have different kinds of preferences about what we want to be covered for, people should be able to tailor their insurance to the kind of package that they want.
All right. Well, NBC and CNN are both reporting that under this new Trump care, 15 million Americans are going to lose their health care coverage. Is that fake news? And is there any truth to that?
No, there's no truth to that whatsoever. First of all, the bill that's going to finally pass will basically keep, at least for 2, maybe even 3 years, people who got coverage under Obamacare, they're going to keep that coverage until the insurance markets adjust and we move into this new system. So this idea that there are going to be 10 million people that are going to lose their insurance, no. Now, it is true that one of the things, the way that Obama increased enrollment in health care was by putting, something like 20 million more people under Medicaid, which is one of the worst health care systems in the world. Medicaid, most really good healthcare providers don't even take Medicaid. A lot of hospitals, a lot of doctors, physicians, healthcare facilities don't take Medicaid. So we haven't done a great, service to people by sticking them into the worst healthcare system. We want to give people, under the Republican bill, essentially a voucher that allows them to go out and buy any kind of health plan that they want to with a if they're low income, they're going to get a subsidy, and then you can supplement that with some of your own dollars, and everybody should be able to buy healthcare. But you got to have competition, right? I mean, this is the economic lessons for the day. When you have more competition, guess what? Prices come down. We don't have a lot of competition in the healthcare market right now, and that's why prices are going up.
And as Holman Jenkins wrote in the Wall Street Journal today, I mean, being covered by Obamacare is the equivalent of being uninsured because of what you're talking about. So all this propaganda from the left about people are going to lose their health insurance, it's absurd.
Do you want to know an amazing thing, Dan? There have been some studies that show that the health outcomes, because the reason we have health care is because we want healthy people, right? But it turns out the health outcomes of people on Medicaid are virtually no different than people who don't have any insurance at all. So they are insured by name only. They're not getting quality health care because that's not the way Medicaid works.
But before we let you go, I want to get you on corporate tax reform. Were you throwing your shoes at your television when McConnell said it's not going to happen before August?
Yeah, I was, because I want this signed into law by August 13, 2017. By the way, bonus points if you know what the significance of August 13 is.
The date that the income tax was instituted.
Good guess, but wrong. It's the day that Ronald Reagan in 1981 signed his historic tax bill. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Donald Trump? But that was a good guess, Dan. Good guess.
Thank you. I try. I figured
but
it
no,
has
we cannot. I mean, we cannot.
seminal importance.
The serious point is we cannot wait until later this summer. Now they're talking about maybe 2018 for the tax cut. Got to do it now. The economy needs that juice right now, and as soon as this thing gets passed, I think it'll. We got 250,000 or so jobs this month. We get that tax bill, we're going to see 300, 400, 500,000 job months.
I like hearing that. He is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, go Northwestern.
Well, there you go. They're making the tourney this year. Thanks.
Oh my God.
See you, Steve.
Never thought that would happen. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-8249. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-8249. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-8249. 1-800-400-8249.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our jobs discussion with Scott Shalady, Fox Business contributor at 8:08.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
A wrongfully convicted millionaire gang leader heading back to prison. A teen accused of making threatening comments at a suburban school. Bears released Jay Cutler after 8 seasons at quarterback. And a partly sunny, breezy, colder day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lisa Brady. A hiring surge in February, more than many economists were expecting. Fox's Carol Zimmer with this live.
The February report, Lisa, shows solid gains in the labor market with the creation of 235,000 jobs. The unemployment rate is 4.7%, and average hourly earnings rose 2.8%. The number of job gains is expected to support the Fed's view that the labor market is strong enough for another interest rate hike, maybe as soon as next week. This jobs report is the first that covers a full period with Donald Trump as president. Lisa?
Well, Carol, the report could spark an opening rally on Wall Street ahead of the opening bell. Dow futures are now up 103. This as the president continues to sell the Obamacare replacement bill. Fox Radio's John Decker live at the White House.
The president is turning on the charm offensive aimed at winning over conservative Republicans who are skeptical of the just unveiled replacement for Obamacare. The president meeting with House committee chairman this morning to discuss health care. Vice President Pence will also be there. He spoke to Bret Baier last night.
And so we're really beginning from a position of consensus on what we need to accomplish. But in an open legislative process, we're working through how to get there.
The lobbying effort by the White House continues as members of the Freedom Caucus who strongly oppose the legislation have been invited to the White House for pizza and bowling. Lisa?
Thanks, John. This as the latest lawsuits over the president's travel ban expand. It's now 6 states suing over the revised immigration order, most of them still arguing the same constitutional questions as with the first. Opponents of the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline plan a march to the White House today, vowing to keep up the fight despite court rulings allowing the project to continue. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
26 degrees, sunny skies. Winds are out of the north at 14 mile an hour, and that will give us a wind chill of 13 above. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. One man is dead. 2 others are hurt. It follows a major 2-vehicle crash early this morning on Lakeshore Drive near Grant Park. Police say a minivan heading south on Lakeshore Drive collided head-on with a car making a left turn onto Balbo. No one in custody following a shooting that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others at East 51st at a gas station. And police tell us gunshots came from someone inside a gray vehicle, and they're looking for that vehicle. 2 victims died at the scene. 2 others are hospitalized, one in very serious condition. Chicago gang leader who received a $25 million settlement in 2012 for a wrongful murder conviction, heading back to prison. Thaddeus Jimenez was sentenced yesterday to more than 9 years behind bars for shooting a man in 2015 on the Northwest Side. Prosecutors say he used that large settlement to build up his street gang, Simon City Royals. Teachers at the city's Aspira network of charter schools have reached a tentative labor contract agreement with school managers, averting what union leaders had billed as the nation's first strike at a privately run charter network. A 13-year-old boy accused of threatening to harm a group of classmates and teachers at a Northwest suburban middle school. Authorities were notified Wednesday about comments made by a student at Big Hollow Middle School in Ingleside. Investigators determined there was no immediate threat and the teen was hospitalized. Bears moving on without quarterback Jay Cutler, releasing the veteran and adding free agent quarterback Mike Glennon. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks. Big Ten basketball tournament, one and done for Illinois, and Northwestern moves on with a win over Rutgers. 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network. Many economists are expecting a gain of 200,000 jobs in the Labor Department's February report that comes out this morning. They also expect an unemployment rate of 4.7%. That would put the economy at close to full employment. Elon Musk has his fingers in a lot of pies. He owns rocket company SpaceX and a solar company. Now Musk is betting he can solve Australia's energy crisis in 100 days by using Tesla's technology to plug a supply gap which has caused power blackouts in the country. And the University of Washington is feeling good. The school has received $50 million to create a school of computer and science engineering. It will be backed by a $40 million gift from Microsoft founder Paul Allen. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
It's 8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're gonna be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. simplysafe.com/radio.
It's 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Westbound I-80 has big delays from US 30 to Center Street due to a crash. Eden's 20 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 26, the Kennedy. 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 29 from Montrose. 25 in the Express. Outbound 38 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 59 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. Orion, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed. Hollywood to North Avenue and slow 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound 31st to the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State slow from the 83rd Street toll most of the way to 31st. The Eisenhower to North Avenue and Lake Avenue to Willow. Roadwork on the exit. Veterans Memorial slow 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Lake to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Breezy today with partial sunshine. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high 32. Partly cloudy night tonight, low 16. Clouds followed by some sun tomorrow with a high 32. And at night, partly cloudy, low 17. Clouds and sun for Sunday, high 38. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
27 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPartsGarage.com. Discount auto parts with fast free shipping and lowest prices guaranteed.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This is the closest we will ever get to repealing and replacing Obamacare.
I want to make sure that people in Illinois are not left in the lurch, or that, there's a lot of pressure to reduce insurance coverage for people in Illinois. I'm very concerned about that.
We've got lots of time to get this right, and I'd rather get it right than get it fast.
The Central Intelligence Agency lost control of its entire cyber weapons arsenal. This is a historic act of devastating incompetence.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. What is up? Well, employment, 235,000 jobs in February. That's a good number, but you still had anemic fourth quarter growth. You haven't seen major structural changes enacted into law yet. There's some movement in that direction, but you haven't seen it yet. And so is this just optimism fueling speculative hiring? I don't know. For more on that question and others, we're pleased to be joined by Scott Shalady. Scott, the Cow Guy, Fox Business contributor. You can identify him by the cow jacket he wears on the trading floor, much like Amy is sporting this morning.
Yes, Scott, thank you so much. Your kindness didn't go unnoticed. I am wearing the jacket again because I thought we were going to both, Dan and I, wear them again today because we wore them on Monday. But I'll tweet out a picture of the jacket. It's stunning.
Awesome.
It's very slenderizing.
Sometimes Dan has selective hearing, I think, so he didn't get the memo.
Well,
he's wearing something else.
I wear mine to bed. I wear the cow jacket and just the cow jacket, and I dream about Dow 22,000. And so, so tell me if that dream is going to come to fruition. What about the jobs numbers? I mean, is this just kind of optimism fueled hiring, which is kind of an odd way to hire the incremental worker?
It is odd, and we're still running on fumes. I mean, as we say, we're still smoking the hopium. You're exactly right. We had anemic fourth quarter growth. We have some huge headwinds. We've got kiosks, drones, and robots that are going to be putting a lot of these people out of work still, right? And so we're going to have to retrain a large sector of the economy, which is going to be very difficult. I mean, any president was going to have that problem, not just Donald Trump. So, I mean, it's good to see. And it's good to see these people go back to work, and it's good to see that we're getting some manufacturing jobs back to work. And also I have noticed some now hiring signs. I noticed 4 in one day the other day. I haven't seen that in a long time. So I think the optimism or the animal spirits, as they say, have been awakened. Now we just have to deliver, which is going to be a bigger problem.
Yeah, but one of those now hiring signs was at Soldier Field for the quarterback position.
Hey-o.
Thank you very much.
So Donald Trump on the campaign trail, people say things at campaigns that they don't mean, but he wants to fulfill his promise of creating 25 million jobs over the next 10 years. Can he do it? Will it happen?
Well, I mean, he's off to a fantastic start. I mean, regardless of why the numbers are where they are, they're great because of this. 3 years ago, on a monthly basis, we were averaging 250,000 jobs a month. 2 years ago, that slipped to 225,000, and last year, a dramatic decline to 185,000, roughly. Okay, those are the rough averages. So in his first full month, or his first true month, we had a private payroll number on Wednesday that he knocked out of the park, and then this one's a very good number as well. So regardless of why it is, it's still going to kind of feed into that hopium or those fumes. We just need to start really delivering underneath it, and he's going to have problems there because of these advances in technology and what we've seen happen in the workforce. So he's going to have to run a lot faster than normal just to make sure he's not standing still.
Now, but what about now on the flip side, moving an Obamacare replacement that repeals the employer mandates and pushes off Cadillac excise tax, Cadillac plant excise taxes for almost another decade? Repeals Obamacare-related taxes in total otherwise. How does that provide potential infusion of additional enthusiasm and capital to expand and hire more workers?
It's significant. I mean, when Obamacare was passed, it was roughly, 20% of the U.S. economy. I mean, 1/5. So you take Obamacare and repeal it and replace it, that is a huge tax cut in itself, like you just said. So that is going to have some impact as it gets phased in. I mean, but these things just don't happen overnight. So that's going to be it will have a massive impact. We're also going to have to see these tax cuts, the real tax cuts, because these markets are here because of what he said so far. But if he delivers, I think even if he delivers a little bit of what he said, I think the markets will like that even still. And it's going to be hard to fight the tape on this. I think the markets have been so negative for so long that they're going to really eat up anything positive and stay buoyant.
So, Scott, this morning, CNN scared me a little bit. They said that job growth is so rapid that it's an engine that's about to overheat.
Well, I mean, maybe for the last 8 years, there should have been job growth is so anemic, the engine might seize. I mean, that's a funny way of complaining about good news. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I gave you those averages, and he's doing this in the face of machines that are now flipping burgers, kiosks that are now ordering for people instead of a human. I mean, if this continues, even in the face of this technological revolution, because America is going to lead the way around the world in that, it's going to be a pretty mighty feat. And for the last 8 years, the Obama administration to the jobs problem was $15 an hour, right? But that's a symptom. Legalizing marijuana is also a symptom of a sick economy. So they were always putting Band-Aids over the symptoms and not really attacking the core, and I think that this is a good step at attacking the core.
How much trepidation is there, do you think, in the market about trade policy? Our friend Mark Perry over at the American Enterprise Institute had an interesting report this week. The amount that trade represents state by state in terms of the percentage of the overall state gross domestic product, the GDP, the average trade share for U.S. states in 2015 was about 18% of their total economy. That means state exports plus state imports, the total trade, and as much as 38% for Michigan. So is there concern still on the street about protectionist trade policies that could be coming down
the path that would inhibit economic growth at the state level as we look at these numbers?
I would say yes, a little bit. Obviously, that's something that you have to address, but it's been more addressed in rhetoric rather than action. And the reason I say that is that I think that Donald Trump understands that. This isn't going to be something that he jams down people's throats sideways and says, take it or leave it. I think that he'll understand that, and the people that he's got around him will understand that. And right now we have to, I hate to say trust them, but right now we have to believe that those guys that have been on the street, they know what it's like to run a business, and he's got a lot of those people surrounding him. Yes, there's a mild concern, but it's really kind of remedied with the fact that these guys have pretty good resumes, and they'll be drawing upon their experience to make sure that there isn't too much of a backlash.
All right, he is Scott Shellady, Fox Business contributor. Scott the Cow Guy. Scott, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, have a great weekend.
You too.
We're wearing your jacket well. Yes. And he joined us on our turnkey .pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of brilliant sunshine, but a lot cooler than we're used to. A high today of 32 degrees. It's 27 right now at O'Hare. Your weekend looks pretty cold. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies both Saturday and Sunday for the St. Patrick's Day Parade tomorrow, Saturday at noon. And then on Sunday, the Southside Irish Parade. And do not forget, what are you going to do this weekend, Dan, at around 1 a.m.? You're going to move your clock?
The term of art is spring forward.
Thank you. Spring forward. So you lose an hour of sleep. I'm sorry. Let's see if there's anything to be sorry about in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, I'm sorry to say there's a crash on westbound I-80 at Center Street. Pretty big backup. US 30 to Center is where it's slow. Eastbound's okay. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Southbound 22 to Kennedy. 55 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 29 from Montrose. 25 in the Express. Outbound 15 to Montrose. 38 to the airport. The Eisenhower. An hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 59 minutes from Manheim, outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy, 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound slow, 31st to Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State delays are from the 83rd Street toll to 31st and from the Eisenhower to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, March is National Sleep Awareness Month, don't you know? And we all know how important a good night's sleep is for our health. Many of us have sleep-related issues, and our pillow is a major reason why. So MyPillow has a March offer. Through March, you'll receive a 50% discount on the 4-pack. What's the 4-pack? Well, the 4-pack is 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. And with MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to get you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. They're made in the U.S. of A., and they have a 10-year warranty, and it's washable and dryable, which a lot of us love. And there's also a 60-day money-back guarantee, so really you have nothing to lose. Get your 50% off 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy. If you've been putting off purchasing a MyPillow, it's time to finally start getting a great night's sleep. I know I do. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy for the 50% off 4-pack deal.
Oh, this roof is so needy.
Call Crumweedy.
How do you spell that?
K-R-U-M-W.
Oh, just go to myroofisneedy.com.
If your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. This is Greg Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Mark Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business, and we have been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You can't do that unless you do really great roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. A lot of companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty.
Our installation is outstanding. No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word trial to 303030 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text trial to 303030 and get started for free right now. Again, text trial to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's why people are talking about Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable too.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference. ShootPointBlank.com for more information.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Instead of fixing the budget crisis and helping struggling families, Illinois politicians want the government to provide free abortions through Medicaid for all 9 months of pregnancy and for any reason. This would include free abortions on unborn children that can feel pain or survive outside the womb. And who will be paying for this? The already heavily burdened Illinois citizens. Why isn't Governor Rauner opposing this bill? Call him right now and tell him to oppose House Bill 40, paid for by Illinois Right to Life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Obamacare replacement. Paul Ryan is putting the full court press on, and the lead marketer for House Republicans as the Speaker of the House and someone who has been working on entitlement reform and healthcare policy for his 2 decades in the House. He has a lot to say on the topic, and much of it makes sense. 25-minute PowerPoint presentation before the D.C. press corps, replete with pictures so they could understand some parts of it. And among other things, he made the point, contrary to the hysteria of the left, that the transition from Obamacare to the new system will be a stable one for those that are poor or sick who are receiving some kind of subsidized coverage, because those are the only people purchasing health insurance on the Obamacare exchanges, the heavily subsidized, that there will be a stable transition.
The key thing that a lot of people want to know, when I do my listening sessions, when I talk to people with various disease advocacy groups, is they just want to know that when we pass this, the next day they're not going to lose their health insurance. That's not going to happen. We pass this law, and the day after, Americans who have insurance aren't going to lose it the day after. We need to have a stable transition to conservative health care reform, and that's what we're doing so that we do not pull the rug out from anybody who is enjoying some kind of coverage they have today.
So that was one of the responses to the criticisms of the left, indirectly. Another is the class envy politics of the left, plus Tucker Carlson. Speaker Ryan on with Tucker Carlson discussing the plan, and specifically, part of their conversation was the investment tax that's a part of funding Obamacare, and this would benefit people that are, largely benefit people that are wealthier. And so, why are you doing that? And Paul Ryan, I thought, had a pretty good response to Tucker Carlson and his left critics on the topic.
Let's get to the tax policy. So as I understand it, and I'm just reading this, so I may have it wrong, but there's an investment tax in here, the net investment income tax. And as far as I know, it only kicks in on couples making over $250,000 a year. So it's a tax on wealthy investors, and you're eliminating it. In a healthcare 3.8%
tax, yeah.
That's exactly right. So I guess my question is, looking at the last election, was the message of that election really, we need to help investors? I mean, the Dow is over 20,000. Are they really the group that needs the help?
This was a tax on capital income, which is bad for economic growth. It's basically a capital gains tax increase, effectively, to finance Obamacare. We're undoing Obamacare, so we're not going to keep Obamacare taxes in place. So all of these taxes, $1 trillion tax cut that this bill represents, that is part of that $1 trillion tax increase that was in Obamacare to finance Obamacare.
No, I know, but
we're repealing. No, but we promised we would repeal the Obamacare taxes. This is one of the Obamacare taxes, so we're keeping our promise. And by the way, it's bad tax policy because it's bad for economic growth. And we're also repealing the Obamacare spending. So we're getting rid of its taxing and we're getting rid of its spending. And this is us keeping our word.
All right. Take your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line. Does Paul Ryan have you convinced that this is the best that Republicans can hope to pass in replacing Obamacare, which is essentially the case he is making, even though there are component parts of it that many conservatives, myself included, do not particularly care for? Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is nuanced differences. It's still subsidies. I heard earlier in the week Peter Roskam, and his pitch was very similar to Stephen Moore's, who you had on. And they talk of these subsidies. What is a subsidy, and where does it come from? You know, Steve Mnuchin yesterday asked to bump up the ceiling, the debt ceiling. Why isn't anyone talking about that? This is more spending. You know, there are many of us who don't want subsidies. See, I don't want a subsidy. I'm not interested in a subsidy. I don't want to be controlled through manipulative.
Yeah, I understand the argument. So here's the question, Sean. Here's the question you have to answer. You have to operate on this mortal coil on which we live. And it's the same. And the state of Illinois is a good example of this. So do I expect Governor Rauner to, eliminate the state income tax and do all the other and advance a statewide school choice program and all the other things that I would do if I could wave a wand and do it? No, I don't, because he's got a supermajority of Democrats in control of the General Assembly effectively. And so there's what you can get done. So if we get some structural reforms for some revenue, as the governor proposed, then you have to take half a loaf on the landscape on which you're operating. And it seems to me that this is the same position that Paul Ryan and Republicans are in, because you need 60 votes in the Senate to finalize anything through these three phases. So you have to respond to that. This is not a classroom experiment where it's just about competing philosophies. It's also moving the flag. So stop waving the flag. Stop waving the flag and tell me how you move it.
I'm not advocating a classroom experiment. What you're seeing is a classroom experiment. First, there's many components to this. First of all, government didn't give us insurance. Insurance is made up of the free market. There was not that long ago, there was no insurance. We paid our doctors, and it was much more reasonable to get care. The soup that we're in, what we're arguing is the ramifications of government intervention, and you're trying to solve it with more government intervention. It's not going to work. It's increasing everything, and that's why they're hiding it under swindled statements like subsidies. You know this. It's a swindle. The idea that you pretend that everyone is entitled to the same care. It is not true. People can afford different shoes. Does everybody get Bruno Maglis? No. If you want Bruno Maglis, go out and work for Bruno Maglis. If insurance, and the other thing is, too, I can afford insurance. I don't want it. I don't go to the doctor. I don't ever want to go to the doctor.
All right.
They just live in a bubble.
Like that.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Thanks for the call, Sean. It's instructive that you and O.J. Simpson wear the same shoes. Yes. Will and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, this whole thing is basically letting the better be the enemy of the betterer. We're not going to get perfect because it's government, and government never does perfect. We're going to move it along. It's going to get incrementally done. But the one thing I'll say is, remember, they keep talking about health care, when actually what we're talking about is financing.
Health insurance right.
For health care.
Right.
And you're never going to have full insurance as long as you have the pre-existing condition thing. That's a risk factor of one. You can't do it that way.
Thanks for the call, Will.
So if people like Sean, real quick, going back to him, if he doesn't partake or buy health insurance, will he get penalized?
No, there's a surcharge if you go for an extended period of time without insurance. Quickly, Keith in Berkeley, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello?
Yes, Keith.
Hello.
Well, here's the deal. You're trying to drain a swamp. You're letting the swamp run you. I don't get it. I support Trump all the way, but he's got to stand up and work for the people, quit worrying about these damn politicians.
All right, thanks for the call, Keith. We'll take more of your calls after Mike Scott's newscast.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this product works. I even recommended it to my mother, and she's been taking it, and she's 89 years old.
Makes me feel good. It really does. I could feel a change in my well-being, let's put it that way.
So far, it has helped my irritable bowel. So I'm just praying that it just keeps going, because you don't know. This was a dreadful thing. Dreadful.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Balance of Nature, you guys are awesome. God bless you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, more of your phone calls about Obamacare replacement. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
26 degrees, cloudy skies. The economy added quite a few jobs last month. In a monthly report, the Labor Department says employment grew by 235,000 in February. President Trump will take his push for the GOP health insurance reform plan to the public next week. He'll appear at a campaign-style rally in Nashville. The ouster of President Park Geun-hye is sparking protests in the streets of South Korea. 2 are dead, more than 30 hurt in clashes between demonstrators and police. Volkswagen expected to admit guilt and pay $4.3 billion in fines, settling U.S. charges in its big diesel emissions scandal. 1 man is dead in Chicago, 2 others hurt following a 2-vehicle crash, a head-on collision in Grant Park along Lakeshore Drive. No one in custody following a shooting that killed 2 men and wounded 2 others severely on Chicago's South Side. And a Chicago gang leader who received a $25 million settlement in 2012 for a wrongful murder conviction is heading back to prison. Thaddeus Jimenez was sentenced yesterday to more than 9 years behind bars. The Bears moving on without quarterback Jay Cutler. Bears releasing the veteran after 8 seasons and are about to add free agent quarterback Mike Glennon. Blackhawks suffer a 1-0 loss to the Ducks last night at the UC. One and done for the Fighting Illini. The Big Ten basketball tournament blown out by Michigan in their bad uniforms. Northwestern beat Rutgers 83-61. The Big Ten tournament. The news service of Staples. Are you trying to acquire new customers for your business? Staples Print and Marketing Services helps you promote your business with low prices on presentations, signs, pens, mugs, and more. Right now, 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher delivers the numbers on why the Democrats are scrambling.
It's a stunning set of statistics. The grand total during Barack Obama's West Wing tenure, a net loss of 1,042 state and federal Democrat posts. The Democrats are in free fall.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post your next job opening on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. According to creditcard.com, cardholders in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan are carrying over $33,000 of debt on their credit cards. The Federal Reserve recently increased the interest rates 1/4 point, which, according to credit enhancement expert Gary Novell, will increase the average credit card holder's interest payments $825 a year. The good news is home values have rebounded, so now is an excellent time to use your home's equity to eliminate your stress, pay off credit card debt, and lower your monthly payments. To see if you can use your home's equity to pay off your debt, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T 4358 and MLS 19186.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-961-9279. That's 800-961-9279. 800-961-9279 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
It's 8:38. A quick check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound the same. Kennedy, 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Ike, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound it's 34 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 3:55 to the Drive. The Ryan, 33 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy. Wilson to North Avenue. That's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
And here's your weather. Chicago Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes to us from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Partly sunny, breezy, colder, 32 today, 26 degrees right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about Obamacare replace and whether Donald Trump has kept his promise, and Paul Ryan is persuading you that this is the best that Republicans can do, given they have 52 Republican members of the United States Senate, not 60. Here's Paul Ryan as part of his PowerPoint yesterday talking about the principles that inform the replacement proposal they've advanced.
We don't want insurance companies becoming monopolies looking for favoritism in a cronyistic way at Washington. We want health insurers, hospitals, doctors, all providers of health care benefits competing against each other for our business as consumers. That is how the great American free enterprise system works in all other aspects of our lives and our economy. That's what should work in this system as well.
And there are market components that we've discussed and that have been discussed over the last 72 hours, including expansion of health savings accounts, the repeal of the Obamacare taxes, the repeal of the Obamacare spending. Now, it is the proposal to replace it with other government spending? It is. So there are problems with this proposal. Is it going to be a true free market in health insurance under what has been proposed? No, it is not, as Holman Jenkins rightly writes today in the Wall Street Journal. Under the GOP plan, healthcare will remain a heavily subsidized industry in relation to everything else Americans might rationally prefer to spend their money on, but it is still an improvement over what we have with Obamacare.
But with all these tax credits, where's the revenue going to come from to help fund Obamacare? Or not, Trump care, excuse me.
The CBO has yet to score this, but there are, in terms of the revenue generated to support the subsidies
AARP,
from taxation,
right?
From surcharges if you don't have insurance.
Well, the AARP, I know they're left-leaning, but they said there's an age tax that forces Americans in ages 50 to 64 to pay thousands of more for health care. That we're taxing the elderly more.
Yeah, here's what we're doing now. Let's understand this. And the fundamental argument, if you're going to make an argument about this, is that Republicans have conceded that health insurance is a right and health care is a right. Okay. They've conceded that's an entitlement. Now they're trying to essentially make it as least offensive to market principles as they can. So there are central planning elements and there are market elements, and they run into one another to some extent. So there are legitimate criticisms to be lodged. But the AARP, which of course endorsed Obamacare, and the AMA, which of course endorsed Obamacare, to continue on with Holman Jenkins's review, to pay for all the subsidies, Obamacare policies incorporated deductibles and copays so high that for routine illness or injury, having Obamacare is the equivalent of being uninsured, except your teenage daughter gets her birth control for free. That's why practically the only people who buy Obamacare policies nowadays are those poor enough to qualify for hefty subsidies and or sick enough that Obamacare is still a bargain in relation to all the health care they plan to consume. So let's understand what we have versus what's being proposed and what's possible ultimately in legislative form, pass the reconciliation process, pass phase 2 of the administrative rulemaking. But when you actually have to move something through the House and Senate, what you can get 8 Democrat senators to sign on to and send to the president's desk. Mark in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. Why do we need 60 votes? Why can't we just do it with 51 like the Democrats did with Obamacare in the first place?
Well,
Why don't they just repeal the total thing and get it off our backs and go back to the way we were, which was much better?
They didn't do it with 51 votes. They did it with 60. The Senate passed Obamacare 60 to 39. It was a straight roll call vote. Thanks for the call, Mark. Appreciate it. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I do not trust Paul Ryan, but I trust Mike Pence more. I think he has proven himself to be honest and pretty reliable. So, that being said, I haven't read the text of any of this stuff yet. I look forward to doing that when it's available. But if they tell me, especially Pence, stands up there, puts his honor and his reputation on the line and says, look, this gets rid of all of the essential components and backs it out intentionally, carefully, so that it doesn't disrupt people who are in the middle of treatment, okay, I'll listen to that. Am I comfortable with the government still meddling at all in 1/6 of a $17 trillion economy? I do not. I'm not comfortable with that at all. So I would like to see the government get out of things. I heard the word voucher come out of Stephen Moore's mouth this morning. That raised red flags. I heard the word subsidies used. You know what? We need to get as far away from the government putting money into people's hands to buy their health care as we possibly can. And if you really want to see costs come down and big innovation, do something about the bankrolling by big pharma of doctors to push their drugs. A lot of the payments come behind the scenes in the healthcare system. You walk in, you get things prescribed, and they're getting paid for all that. You want to see more medicines open up, back off some of the FDA onerous oversight, and get the wallets of big pharma out of the back rooms of the doctors.
Yeah.
You'll see even more reform.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. So here's the thing. You have to remember the administrative state, which is why kind of Bannon's focus on the administrative state is so important, and that why phase 2 of the administrative rulemaking with respect to Obamacare replace is so important. They've had 6, 7, 8 years now, certainly 7 through 2016, to promulgate through administrative agencies, IRS, HHS, what was not included in the Obamacare legislation to fill in all of the central planning blanks, if you will. That takes time to unwind. You also have, employer-provided health insurance to so much of the population, so people don't necessarily immediately feel it. This is why education is so important in the marketing of the proposal, as well as the explanation of what's happening, so that people understand what they're kind of feeling and experiencing, because it's indirect, like the withholding for income tax. And so, the idea that this can, in the political context, we can have this laboratory discussion, but then you have to have the discussion in the context of moving something through Congress to the president's desk and then empowering cabinet secretaries, which the president has done with Tom Price at HHS, to unwind the administrative rules and regulations associated with it. This is just more complicated than people want to make it believe, and would some people would rather believe. You have to sell this thing. You have to sell it. So Paul Ryan is selling it in certain parts. I think you should concede some of the realpolitik aspects of it that are otherwise non-optimal, but part of what has to be included to move this along, including the popular, quote-unquote, Obamacare provisions like health insurance to 26 and no lifetime caps and coverage for pre-existing and those matters. I mean, but politics is making a case and building a coalition of support, and it's going to take time. Jeff and Gurnee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy. How are you? Well, a couple of things. I apologize, a little nervous because I'm running to write this down. But I love our country, and I hope it succeeds. Anything's better than Obamacare. And the one thing that resonates with me is Nancy Pelosi saying, well, we have to pass the bill before to see what's in it, where they've tried to do it and repeal it, and they've been unsuccessful. But the thing that concerns me is Paul Ryan's track record of saying one thing and doing another, and then essentially throwing Trump under the bus, because obviously he's got to get behind this bill because he's the one that ran on it. And the other thing that scares me, and I'll let you go and listen to your comment, is Milton Friedman said it best, and basically saying if you put the government in charge of the Sahara Desert, you're going to have a shortage of sand in 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for
have a great weekend.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. I mean, look, in terms of Paul Ryan sabotaging Trump, Trump has been a happy warrior on behalf of this legislation.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump's convinced, clearly.
He's on board 100%. And he's pushing the bill and holding bowling nights to try and cozy up to some congressmen and their wives.
So
we don't know yet who won the match last night.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem to me like Trump is a reluctant participant. So, I mean, if for whatever criticisms you want to lodge against Paul Ryan, you're going to have to include the President of the United States as well, because they're aligned on this matter. Pete in Montgomery.
Good morning. I don't necessarily trust Paul Ryan's judgment on all of this stuff, but I do trust President Trump. To date, he's done everything that he said he's going to do, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt if he says he can work phase 2 and 3 through to make this what we really need. And there's one other aspect that I think us conservatives, and I am a conservative, need to keep in mind. There's no reason not to buy a brand new TV if you can afford it and you want it. So we as conservatives, if we can afford it, we can give money to these liberal pet projects that don't make any sense to us at all if they can be afforded. So there's no reason for us not to subsidize low-income health insurance if we can afford it. It benefits everybody in the long run.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Pete. I mean, right. The subsidies to the poor or those with chronic or congenital conditions that make them uninsurable, I mean, that's something that is, look, that's not what's driving this overall. It's the Byzantine central planning, thousands of pages of worth of administrative regulations in terms of thousands of pages that frame the legislation that enacted Obamacare. It's the same thing with Medicare and Medicaid going back 50 years. I mean, government does social engineering terribly. Is it purely a free market? No. Can you live with some government-generated externalities to provide enhancements for people that that need it? And are we kind of inclined to do that as a people? Yeah, I think so. Kurt in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, listening to all these calls has been great. And I think Sean's larger point was the individual has the right to be left alone. And he's being dragged into this with a gun to his head saying he has to participate.
I understand.
But my question for you is, why can't they repeal it just like they had the bill that Obama vetoed and then use the nuclear option? I mean, I know they didn't use the nuclear option to get this done, but the Democrats brought it in and made it available. And I think we should use this to get rid of all of this nonsense and put something together that makes sense.
All right, thanks for the call, Kurt.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Calling all business owners. Are you running your business without being incorporated? If you answered yes, you are now eligible to incorporate in just 10 minutes. It's a quick incorporation event from Incorporate.com, designed to save small business owners from the risk of losing everything. Just call this number for your free 10-minute incorporation guide, 1-800-300-5124. If you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued. It's you, too, which means you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why small business owners across the country are now scrambling to incorporate during this event. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide while supplies last. 1-800-300-5124. Incorporate.com doesn't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. But hurry and call now while they're still giving these 10-minute incorporation guides away for free. Call 1-800-300-5124. That's 1-800-300-5124.
Listen up. Time is just about up. In fact, today is the last day if you want to join me, Joe Walsh, and Dan Proft in beautiful Punta Cana.
Many of those New Hampshire fish lost ultimately to North Carolina. Many of them.
We will be staying at the beautiful Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa in the Dominican. The resort just opened a few months ago, so it's brand new. Really, go online, see for yourself how gorgeous this place is. It has wonderful infinity pools. The rooms are decorated beautifully, beautiful bedding, 24-hour-a-day room service. There's gourmet restaurants. And if you'd like to golf, the championship golf courses designed by Jack Nicklaus, just a stone's throw away. So there's literally something for everyone to do, but you can't wait any longer. You have to book your trip today before midnight. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport. Again, today's the last day to book your trip, and we will see you in beautiful Punta Cana.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-5952. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. To receive your 10-day in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-400-5952. Again, that's 1-800-400-5952.
Upstream-ideas.com, website where you can find premium content that complements what we do on Chicago's Morning Answer, long-form interviews, and then Against the Current series, Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, commentaries from yours truly, as well as other free minds and free markets types, dollars and cents, 2-minute warnings, podcast of our Illinois Rising program, which covers state of Illinois politics and policy. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection, and I know that it works.
Balance of Nature is providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing